sunshine, promises of treasures, but it's all a lie. We dig in our pockets, we pay the price. Their customer service ain't very nice. Let's go down to Steam Away Camp, where the fans get effed in the A. Throw all your money away, my friend, for promises that ain't worth a damn. A special edition, they slap on the name. It's the same old story, the same old game. A poster gimmick, a glittery pin, and we line up again. It should be a sin. Let's go down to Scheme Away Camp, where the fans get effed in the A. Throw all your money away, my friend, for releases that ain't worth a damn. They whisper to us it's limited rare, but it's just more BS floating through the air. A factory of dreams, or so they claim, yet all we get is more of the same.
What is going on, boys? It is the Horror Roundtable, the long-awaited, much-anticipated return of the Horror Roundtable for the first time since February. We are back and ready to attack. Got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. Got a whole lineup of people. Let's start introducing them, boys. Got a lot of people in the chat as well. Welcome, everybody. One of my longest friends online is this next fella. We had him on the MWO podcast this past week. Almost 20 years. We've known this guy all the way down in Mahia, Texas. The real deal himself, Mr. Jay Real. What you doing, Jay?
Hey, everybody.
Good to get you on here, buddy. Hope you're trying to stay cool down there. Weather here is warm. I can only imagine down that way.
It hasn't gotten 100 degrees yet. That's coming, but it's like in the upper 80s, low 90s.
And the next gentleman up, another one we've known for a long time, another one that's living in the state of Texas and is probably, trying to stay cool as well. I don't know if it's as warm as it is in Mahia where he's at, but YouTube icon, legend, Rambo Raff for life. What's going on, man?
Well, it's like 93 degrees and it still feels like fucking 100, so.
93 degrees is cool for you guys. I thought it was hot here. It was like 82.
I tell you what it is here. It's not so much the heat, it's that damn humidity. I mean, it's weather you can wear. It just coats your body in just like this damp blanket.
Yeah, you walk outside, it feels like you're going swimming.
Well, you guys enjoy that.
Oh, yeah.
I can live with the 80-degree weather for now.
And all those tornadoes.
Also,
a lot of tornadoes lately.
Also on here from northern West Virginia, but it's still West Virginia, man. You can't say you're from Pennsylvania. You're a West Virginian. And there's a fat version of him on the Discord as well, and he was on the intro a little bit earlier too. But this is the skinny version. Phantasm Matt, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. I lost a little bit of weight since you saw me on Discord last.
Well, maybe you just got a twin brother.
No,
Who
those
knows,
are
man?
That
the
likes to
before
eat
and
them.
after pictures.
Yeah. That's all that biscuit world, man.
Yeah, West by God, Virginia. Yeah, all you got to do is to try a bite of a Tudor's biscuit, and then you're instantly hooked and fat. So.
Oh yeah.
See,
Good
right
shit.
now we have before Steam Factory. Fat Matt is after Steam Factory, so that's the before and after.
But yeah, he's near Pittsburgh. I got my Pittsburgh jersey on tonight, representing
Oh yeah, I see
the
that.
Living Dead weekend, and so that's going on. But it is not the last one. They've already said there's at least one more, possibly two. So I will live up to my promise and be at the last one they do, at least
Cool.
at the mall, because we all know it. Don't get your hopes up. It's still going to be flattened, and it's going to be a damn Walmart. So. Also on here, he's another regular on these Roundtable shows. He popped in as the intro was playing and is one of the longest reigning patrons on the Patreon page. I don't think he's ever let his subscription drop off for like 5 years or so, or close to it. And he's down south too. I think he's in Louisiana, so he's probably burning up as well. Carter Derdention.
What's up? Yes, sir. I'm actually outside right now. It's not too bad, but give it about July, August, it's going to be miserable. Like, miserable. Right now, at least there's some kind of air, but give it like around 4th of July onwards, it's going to be horrendous out here.
I can imagine. That's deep south too, so.
Well, the worst part is like we get tropical weather, so it'll be like on a flip of a switch, torrential downpours. And then on a flip of a switch, sunny again. So all that rain gets sucked back up into the atmosphere, and then it just becomes like just you're breathing like just muggy.
You should be a
shit.
meteorologist, man. You know,
I know,
more
I
about
should.
that than me.
Yeah. Give me a green screen.
The Austin Butler lookalike. I need to remember that because yeah, you do kind of resemble Austin Butler.
Thank you. I wish I had his money, but I'll take a compliment.
Well, I mean, you could like say, "Hey, the Austin Butler experience at conventions" or something like that. And
True. Yeah.
it could work, right?
I mean, if if Tony Moran can do conventions, then maybe I can have a shot. Yeah.
He's not doing conventions anymore. He's doing car
Right.
dealerships.
He's signing autographs at Wendy's right now.
I
Tony
never will
Moran.
forget that first convention I went to when I was promoting Dawn at Texas Frightmare Weekend, and they put Tony Moran's table next to mine. So I spent the whole weekend with Tony Moran, and I don't know. I think I interviewed him for you guys on DEADPIT. I don't know if you guys got that or not.
Yeah, I think it's still up. We actually interviewed him as well, so we got a couple of different Tony Moran interviews from back.
The
in
only
day.
thing I can remember about the interview is that he said, I said, well, you got any stories about beating fans and stuff? And he said, yeah, I made a girl cry. So,
He's probably made a girl and a guy and everybody.
The interview y'all did with him on your YouTube channel, that's before he changed his gimmick to the modern Andrew Dice Clay gimmick he runs with now, where he's like leather
Right.
jacket.
but his sister is Joni from Happy Days. Of course,
Yeah.
I think she passed away several years ago.
Right. Yeah, I don't think that he and his sister got along very well either. I don't know what the story is with that, but yeah, I think everybody in that whole family disowned Tony for probably a multitude of reasons.
You guys were like, y'all were ahead of the curve shitting on him like 15 years ago before everybody caught up. Like I remember those blog TV shows where you were just going off.
Jay, like when you talked to him, didn't he just come across as like kind of a douche?
Yeah, I mean,
He just did instantly.
yeah, and like I say, you know, I chatted with him throughout the weekend. He was a nice enough guy, but yeah, a douche was a good way to describe him. And what he's in Halloween for like 10 seconds.
If that, yeah, like 2 seconds.
2 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, guys, open topic tonight. We do have a lot of people in the chat. People wonder where Uncle Bill is. Uncle Bill is getting ready to hit the road. Also a special shout out, his daughter Piper, which I call the first kid of DEADPIT.com, which is true. She had graduation from the 8th grade tonight, so we were both down there for that. And so he's busy night tonight, so I don't know if he's going to... I told him we're doing it, so we'll see. But no Victor Salva tonight. I'm not going to give him that hard of a time. He may have played with the toy that Victor sent him in the mail tonight. But, yeah, I don't think they have contact with one another anymore. But
isn't Victor, if you look at Victor Salva's Wikipedia, I think his picture is his mugshot.
It should be, yeah.
Yeah.
What's crazy about Victor Salva is, though, is he, like, had a career up until really just about, 5 or 6 years ago.
Right.
And then, like, the word got out more and more about what he did, and it took him that long to get banished from filmmaking, finally.
Which is crazy, because that was, like, open information from the get-go. I remember learning that a long time ago.
Yeah.
I guess when you have the backing of Francis Ford Coppola, it take you places.
With the internet and all that information is readily available, so it can't just remain a rumor anymore like it did for probably a few years after he got out of prison or whatever, you know. And it's the same thing with Brian Peck from Return of the Living Dead. Like, a lot of people up until recently had no idea about that after that documentary came out and all that last year.
Mm. That shit was crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, fuck him.
So, yeah, I don't want to watch Powder again, Father Rotten. I think I'm good.
Well, if you watch Jeepers Creepers too, you can see a lot of like dudes pissing right next to each other, which I don't know about you guys, but the last place I want to be when I'm pissing is right next to another
You
person.
don't do that all the time?
No.
When, like, I've only watched that movie maybe twice. All the young males in that have their shirts off and are like oily the entire time too, right?
Yeah, and the creeper's like licking the window and winking at him and shit. Yeah.
There's that scene where they're sunbathing on top of this bus and they're all glistening and glowing.
You know how much you know how fucking burnt like you would be by laying on top of a school bus in the heat? You know what I mean? Like you'd be frying your skin on it. But he ripped that whole movie off of a South Park episode, which is hilarious.
Yeah, I didn't know which one came first, but yeah, it is exactly the same. Yeah. What year was Jeepers Creepers 2? I don't even know.
It's like 2003.
Okay, so yeah, that was much later. Yeah. That was a Scuzzlebutt episode, right?
Yeah.
This is funny from Eli Ross Attorney. I think you guys on Friday Night Lives was talking about this.
Yeah.
There's a lady, I don't know which show this is. It might be Days of the Dead or one of those shows, where they've got a photo of her feet, like from Friday the 13th Part 2, and she's doing convention signing autographs. She was Jason's feet in Friday the 13th Part 2. $40.
There's a few people out there that would love that.
Add it to the poster.
Remember back in the day that the cash register lady from Friday the 13th Part 3 was at conventions? Wasn't that a deal back in the day? Like,
I mean, that was
in a background.
Nowadays, yeah, it ain't nothing though. They got the foot lady from who the hell even knew that?
I don't know if you see this, but I put it in the private chat. That's the picture. It's the Indianapolis Days of the Dead in June. And yeah, it's just her fucking feet.
It's just their fucking feet on the ground.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can share the screen. I'll try if my computer explodes and show everybody, but
I didn't even know you saw Jason's feet in that movie. Like, if you would have quizzed me, did you see Jason's feet in that movie? I probably would have said no.
It's just his pants with boots. That's all it is.
Yeah, that could be anybody. I mean, fuck, I could have said that was me a few years ago and probably made a few bucks.
but yeah, it was Days of the Dead. So,
I mean, how's
man.
Is Kevin Spacey still doing conventions?
I mean, he'll do them if anybody
Yeah.
wants to book him.
All right.
Yeah, he was at Steel City Con recently.
I mean, he'll do. He's so desperate. He'll do anything. Like, you know, Jay, if you make another movie, it's not out the realm of possibility. You can cast Kevin Spacey. Not that you'd want to, but I'm just saying it's not even out the realm. He'll do
the
whatever
thing
now.
Is about Kevin Spacey is that I always really liked him as an actor. You know,
Mhm.
there's so many movies I really like him in.
He may really like you as
You know, it's a shame he has to be a freak. You know,
He didn't get convicted. Did he get convicted or no?
I don't think he was ever convicted
No.
of anything, was he?
no.
And there was like two or three people like that were his alleged victims, like off themselves. So I'll just leave it at that.
But
Like coincidentally, you know.
But that's a good question because, you know, I did a show with Brandon and my sister talking about, you know, all these stars and directors and stuff and crimes they've committed and stuff. And how does that change your view of the movies they're in or stuff, you know, like with Victor Salva or I don't know if there's any Bill Cosby fans out there, but or, you know, does what they do change your view of the movies they're in or the movies they make or whatever?
Usually for me, no, but it depends. Like in a Victor Salva situation where you have like real obvious signs in the movies that are kind of pointing towards what happened in real life, then yeah, that would probably sour me on it. But usually if it's just, you know, a director or actor or any kind of entertainer, the personal stuff that they've done doesn't really affect it for me. I know some people feel differently, but if I like something, I like something. Music, there's plenty of musicians that have done terrible fucking things, you know, but hey, if I like the music, I'm going to still listen to it. So, you know, that's just for me.
It depends on what it is. Like I mentioned this recently to, I can't remember who we were talking to about this, but the whole Chris Benoit thing, like I can't watch him on anything. I just can't.
No.
Like I don't want to see his face, right? But when it comes to acting, like Kevin Spacey, he's been in some great freaking movies, right? Like American Beauty, I've always loved that movie. Seven, of course, you know.
Usual Suspects.
Yeah, I mean, tons like classics over the years. So, I mean, to me, if you really, really love those movies, like he didn't kill anybody or anything, he didn't get convicted. So, I don't
Didn't give
think
anybody a crippler crossface.
And Leonard Part 6, I can still enjoy.
Jesus Christ.
I'm fine with a bit of Cosby and his pudding pops, special flavored pudding pops.
Oh my
Well,
God.
of course, I'm old, so I grew up with Fat Albert and Cosby Kids, and you know, Bill Cosby.
Oh,
You were little.
my granny got me the Fat Albert plush toy from back. You remember Fat Albert had a comeback back probably in like the early to mid '80s, and there was like a whole line of plush Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids toys, and I don't know why anybody would buy any of the other ones aside from Fat Albert, but they made them.
You ever seen that episode of the Cosby Show where they had like a barbecue and everybody's all, you know where I'm getting at, right? Everybody's all lovey-dovey, and his wife, I forget the character's name, is like, "Ooh, what's going on?" He goes, "I'll tell you it is. It's the secret I put in the sauce. It's getting everybody all lovey-dovey. I put it," and then the kids start eating the barbecue sauce. He's like, no. So, yeah.
But behind the scenes, he's like, "Yeah, go ahead, kids. Eat this special sauce over here."
Stupid
Yellow pudding.
That's great.
Pops in the thing.
For a while, they were all going down. Bill Cosby, Harvey Weinstein, Kevin Spacey. I mean, shit. There was a bunch that were going down.
So we had Don May on recently. Carlos. Hey, Carlos. Are you guys buying the Fright Night 2 and Prom Night 2 on 4K? Of course, Fright Night 2 hasn't been out in fucking 25 years on anything. What do you guys think about those movies?
Fright Night 2, I would gladly get. I do like the film. Not as good as the first. Prom Night 2, I honestly don't like any of the Prom Night movies. That's the most watchable. That's a franchise I could ever get into. I mean, the first film I thought was boring as shit.
Yeah, a lot of people are kind of like, that you either love the first film or you hate it. So, but like the second one, I'm like, it's okay.
Yeah.
But I'm not. Now, the interesting thing is, the stunt man. What's going on, buddy?
What's up, guys? What you guys talking about in here?
I'm kicking you out of here already. Now, hang on. This
he's
style is
black,
how we
right?
had it set up last
Because
time.
he's black.
So,
You got kicked about his black.
Yeah, we look like Hollywood Squares now.
jeez. Come on.
no.
White guy comes out, guy leaves. Sorry.
Oh, Lord Almighty.
Gosh.
We're off to a good start.
Ugh,
Hell yeah.
we love Mark on here. What about you, Mark? Are you picking both of these up? Prom Night 2, Fright Night 2.
No, probably just Fright Night 2. I'm not really big into the Prom Night franchise. Probably shouldn't have been one anyway, but I'm sure it's got its fans. But definitely Fright Night 2.
I'm gonna
Did
wait till
you-
they're both on Tubi,
Did you
which
hear,
always
though,
happens every time I buy something.
there is the original cut of Prom Night 2 that's going to be included called The Haunting of Hamilton High. It originally wasn't even a prom night movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they've got like a VHS rip or something of that original cut that they're going to include as a bonus feature. So that sort of stuff's really cool.
Yeah. So they confirmed it will be. I know they found it, but they confirmed it will be on it.
I don't think they've 100% confirmed it, but Felcher pretty much told us that he talked to a guy that has the tape. He just needs to find it. Like, I guess one of the production people or something. So I'm guessing that they are pretty confident it's going to be on there. They wouldn't have mentioned it. You know how Felcher is. He won't talk about none of that shit.
He learned.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
But
waiting for the Prom Night remake. That's what I want.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
No. That's something that Scream Factory will release. Watch.
I thought they did.
Maybe they
If
did.
they did, that's hilarious.
I have
Wow.
to look it up.
I always forget that movie even exists.
I went on a date and saw that movie when I was like a freshman in high school, and I was like, "This is the biggest piece of shit."
There's all kinds around that time period, though, too. Like this, there's a Stepfather remake, the
Sorority
Hitcher
Row.
remake, Sorority Row.
Fog.
Oh God.
Jesus Christ!
That's probably the worst one of that
That-
era.
I think pound for pound, that's the worst remake ever. Just because, like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
It's
Because they're
really bad.
that's every other remake, no matter how shitty they are, they always have their people that come out and defend it. Nobody comes out and defends the Fog. There's no kind of
Well, nobody was defending that Elm Street remake up until recently. I started hearing people. I'm like, oh God.
Well, I mean,
Right.
that's
There you go. Via
Jesus.
Vision.
There.
You buy from Via Vision.
Live Vision over in Australia. Yeah.
Did y'all see the trailer for this Alien series that FX is putting out?
Fuck no.
Rambo's gonna love that one.
Alien Earth.
Somebody's going to request you to watch every episode.
I hope not. I'm so tired. Of
Oh, you know it's coming.
Alien
Man.
Earth.
Even if
I'm
it's
not-
good, man, they've buried that fucking franchise, pissed on it, redug it up, shit on it, hit it over the head with a shovel, set it on fire. Like that in the Predator franchise, I can do without for the rest of my life. There's there's 4 good movies out of both of those franchises.
And that series that Max is putting out, Welcome to Derry.
They've been talking about that for a long time. Have they got a start date on that yet or no?
I don't know. I mean, they got a long trailer on Max for that, but I don't know when it's supposed to start.
I just don't like series, man, especially for horror. It's like, gives a fuck.
Well, it's like the Crystal Lake show too, which they're in like pre-production on it and building the stages and everything. Like, and evidently with the mock-up for that Jason, the thing that was everywhere a couple of weeks ago that Greg Nicotero created. Greg Nicotero didn't fucking create that.
Chad GPT created.
Yes, you could make me modern Jason Voorhees and Chat GPT or whatever it is, and it would look like that. Like, nobody fucking created that. Are you kidding? That doesn't even look like a good Jason Voorhees in a video game.
No.
No.
This is like a big budget thing, right? This Friday the 13th series they're going all. Doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose of a Friday the 13th franchise? Like, it's like, supposed to be a low budget slasher, have a good element of sleaze to it, depending on which film. But like, I feel like they're overthinking it, and modern audiences, because I think people recognize Jason, like, still to this day, even younger people, the hockey mask and everything, but nobody's going to give a shit pre-hockey mask outside of like us six, people like us, and even then we're the target audience for it, and I don't think we even give a shit, to be honest with you.
I'm not. You know my thoughts on the first film.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the first film is highly overrated. Like, the gore is good, special effects, Betsy Palmer's good, but it's boring as fuck. The second one's a way better movie.
You guys mentioned, I was going to say, Welcome to Derry just is late 2025 with 9 episodes. Be 9 episodes.
Are they going to introduce the space turtle from the books? From the It books, the space turtle that flies around?
All that shit feels unnecessary. That's like the Carrie TV show. I like Mike Flanagan. He's probably one of the better guys working in the genre today, but I think it's a waste of time. Like, how the fuck are you going to carry that out for more than a season? Carrie? Like, come on.
Yeah.
It's just a waste.
Lame.
What?
Yeah, there's too many of these series too. Like, are they all hoping on? I guess the best case scenario is like the Bates Motel or something, maybe
Stranger Things.
Or Stranger Things, but like
Stranger Things too.
Well, that was a little bit different though, because that was not based on like
but it's that nostalgia,
right?
Horror,
but like the horror shows, like Chucky, I guess that one did okay at first. But it kills, to me, I think it kills the damn franchise, like those old horror movies. Like, I don't want to see another Chucky movie or anything with Chucky in it.
Well, I agree.
I actually like the first couple of seasons of Chucky, but I can understand how people are sick to death of Chucky. So.
Yeah,
I mean,
Chucky.
The character is just like, I don't know what else you could do at this point to make it interesting, but
and that guy Don Mancini's the Chucky guy, right?
Yeah.
Don
Mancini.
I mean, he's kind of a fucking hack. Can we just admit that? Like, all the shit, all the mythology and everything from the Chucky series, like, he didn't come up with. Didn't Tom Holland rewrite the script for like?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I've said that several times on here. He's the worst thing to do with that. Like, I can't stand Don Mancini.
Don Mancini.
Ooh,
fucking fettuccine.
What up, everybody?
Yo,
what up?
The Rad Mang.
The medium Mang, the Rad Mang.
Yeah, I stopped caring about Chucky since like Bride of Chucky was.
What about you, Gary? You're kind of more of a Chucky guy. Are you done with the character? Where else would they go with it and get people interested in it again?
Oh God, oh man, I don't know. I love Chucky, but I mean, I don't know what I would do with him going forward. I didn't watch the show,
Chucky,
mostly because I didn't want to get burnt out on him. But it seems like that's kind of what happened with a lot of people. They were all excited for the show, and then I think people started to kind of get out of it. And that's what I'm kind of nervous about with Friday the 13th, to be honest with you. Like, if it's about Pamela, cool. But if they start bringing Jason in, I'm like, I don't know if that's going to be a good idea. But we'll see.
Well, you would think Jason, like, they've got to at least have 1 or 2 seasons. If it's a backstory, if it's set in Crystal Lake, right? Before they would even get to Jason.
You would think, you would hope that maybe the end of the show is kind of where the first movie starts. I mean, you would hope that's kind of what the idea is. I'm hoping they're not going to try to create all these new side plots with adult
How would they even tackle that? Because I love Friday the 13th. It's my favorite franchise. But, like, if you spend more than 30 seconds thinking about it, it doesn't make sense because it wasn't supposed to be – because it's like, okay, from part 1 to 2, she thought he was dead. So what the fuck was he doing in the woods the whole time? Learning how to be a Les Stroud survivor man? Like, what's going on here?
Well, yeah, because he was like,
so
what,
how do you explain that?
10, 11 years old when he drowned or whatever?
He said, fuck it, I'm not going to the road that's down the street. I'm just going to build me a shack and live off the elements,
Maybe he's killing and eating animals. I don't know. I mean,
there you
the
go.
story they want to tell. Yeah.
They'd have to reshape
growing
the
pot.
lore.
Yeah, he's growing pot again.
The first film.
Selling Jenkins.
It's impossible that Betsy Palmer could have killed all those people.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. I say that all the time, Jay. I'm like, I like that movie. I like that movie when she comes in, but how the fuck is this old lady putting up these young people and like nailing them to shit, and it just doesn't make sense.
Hanging them up on the door, and
the whole movie's a
She's a strong
whodunit.
woman.
The whole movie's a whodunit, and then you find out the whodunit was somebody that was never in the movie. So it's like,
Uncle Bill said, "Deaf kid strength." It's deaf kid strength. Something.
No.
She's got deaf kid strength, and she got a 6-pack underneath her.
I don't know if it's like a hot take, but I always thought part 2 was way better than part 1. Like I thought part 2 was just the first movie, but like done better in every way, maybe except for the Tom Savini effects.
Well, I mean, the funny thing with me is when I was a kid, I didn't like 1 or 2. It wasn't until much later, maybe even when the first DVDs came out, that I actually started to enjoy the first 2 movies.
So what was the first one you liked that you remember?
Part 6.
Wow.
That was like the first one that I ever saw. Yeah.
So that's crazy. Like now you hate 6.
I was just gonna say I don't think you even like 6 anymore.
Uncle Bill's a 6 hater.
I don't hate 6, but yeah, it's not one of my favorites anymore. I used to love 7 as well, and that's not one of my favorites. But all of those Paramount movies I enjoy, all of them. And then, I mean, they started overthinking it, I think, and that's probably what they're going to do with the show as well.
Yeah. I like up until Jason Goes to Hell. And Jason Goes to Hell was one I hated the first time I saw it, but it grew on me over time because it's like you got 12 other fucking hockey mask Jason movies. Like, who cares if there's one in the mix that does something different? It's got some cool shit in it, but after that, it all falls apart.
When they've taken a movie and made it a TV show, where's the one that they did that you liked, that you actually thought was successful?
I still think, and I didn't watch all of it, but just based on what I saw, I thought they did a pretty good job with Bates Motel, all things considered. And I am hoping that they kind of take that similar route with this one and focus a little bit more on the mom and kind of leave Jason on the back burner. Maybe have Jason as a child. You get to kind of see that Jason getting picked on at camp and stuff like that. But I think the one that they did, the Psycho one, I think was pretty successful in that they kind of kept it its own thing. And there was so much to play with because they didn't try to mesh it with the other ones, I think.
So
I really like Bates Motel, but what I want to know is what kind of story are they going to be able to tell with Crystal Lake? Because, of course, Mrs. Voorhees don't go on a kind of killing spree until after she thinks Jason is killed.
She sleeps with everybody.
And,
I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of that, and I'm sure maybe it's going to be one of those things where, like, you see a lot of like torment of Jason at these camps, and maybe she does stuff to the kids that like bother him and shit. Like,
is Jason going to be a special needs kid in the?
He has to be, dude.
I don't think so. I don't think they'll
You
do that
have
now,
to.
man.
They'll say that he's like on.
What do you
like
guys think?
he's like
I don't think.
I mean,
there's so many jokes.
It is risky to do it, sure, but I mean, you got
They'll
to
say he's on the spectrum or something.
He's autistic.
this point,
he can be
Probably.
autistic.
I mean,
There's
he
no
doesn't look
reason-
like a young
there's-
Kane. There's no question. He has.
He can't look like little sloth.
He can't look like little Kane, a little sloth. No.
If they don't make him have Down syndrome, that's like the ultimate hypocrisy. It's a franchise built on people getting slaughtered. Like who cares? Have him on the ground playing with toy trains and shit. Who cares?
But is that enough to anchor like season and after season? I mean,
No.
you'd have to throw in like other characters that are up to like
Yes.
various forms of debauchery, and
There'll probably
got-
be a lot of like counselors as big characters, I'm sure.
Well, here's the thing: they're
Yeah.
not even going to be able to call it Friday the 13th, right? Because Sean Cunningham owns the.
Yeah, it's going to be called Crystal
So
Lake.
what
I
are?
think.
But nobody. Okay, people know, like the average person, especially younger people, know Jason, and they know Friday the 13th. Crystal Lake. I mean, people think of Crystal Light, like the shit you put in your water. They don't think of.
Yeah, think
you know
of
what I mean?
generic bottled water, like there's Crystal Lake drinking water.
Exactly,
I know,
some
yeah.
Walmart brand, you know.
Yeah.
I mean,
But-
they're filming it around, like not around me, probably 4 or 5 hours south of me. This
You should
summer.
try to get
And
on it as a
I would love
extra or
to, but
something.
it's like, I would love to. They put out a press release, but it's like you need to spend 3 months there. I mean, I can't spend 3 months down there.
You'd be
That'd
the
be
perfect.
cool.
Your character, you would be the perfect guy that like wrangles in all the kids. All right, I'm leaving y'all for the weekend. No funny business. Make sure to paint the houses. All right, see you
Stay
later.
rad, everybody.
Yeah, stay rad. Stay rad.
So
I'll be
it's
like, just kill me off real quick, and then I could go
Yeah.
home. But,
you'd be the athletic guy, that like the coach or whatever. That'd be perfect.
Bad kids.
Well, what would be great is, I mean, if all of a sudden I'm portraying like a 25-year-old, that'd be killer, dude. And if you pull it off.
Then it truly would be a throwback to like an 80s movie. Then
Yeah. But it's called. They're using the working title as Mama's Boy on the press release.
it sounds like
So
an
I
Adam
don't
Sandler movie.
I don't think that's what it's going to be called. I
That
think
might have
it's
been
gonna be
Adam
called Crystal
Sandler's.
Lake. But yeah, I don't know. I'm interested for sure, but
Mama's boy.
I have a
Mama?
tough time with TV shows from
Yeah,
movies.
It just seems like the content in general nowadays is way more throwaway than anything else, because this is a Peacock original show.
God, and there couldn't be a worse fucking app if anybody's ever tried to watch an old WWF pay per view than navigating fucking Peacock.
It's
Jesus
really hard.
Christ.
It's really hard to
Yeah.
find old WWF stuff on there
It
too.
sure
'cause
is, yeah.
the way
You
they
gotta
got it
try to
set
find
up.
an old pay per view and be like, you want to watch season 1 or season 2?
Yeah,
It's like
seasons.
What?
I hate that shit.
whatever happened in 1999, 2000.
right.
The seasons
2001.
thing kills me. I'm like, seasons.
Let's watch season 3 of Backlash.
100%. It's so
God.
weird, dude.
It's terrible.
So, I guess getting started, we're talking about camps already, right? And a big topic as of late. And Garrett made a big video. Garrett got all pissed off on there. That's the kind of videos I like to see from Garrett.
That's all anybody wants to see.
The,
They do well, so I think people like that.
The sleepaway camp thing, and with Scream Factory, Scheme Boy Camp. You heard the song in the beginning. Scream Factory, man, like we've been saying it, it's almost like a broke record because we've been saying it so long. Their products especially over the last 5 years, it's just like unpredictability, right? So you don't know what they're going to do from set to set. And Garrett, you were talking about the Child's Play editions that they did. They went all out for those. And each movie had a couple of posters, right?
2 posters per movie, yeah.
Yeah. But then they were offering them individually though, right? They had a bundle and they had them individually.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they did away with the individual releases and the posters and all that stuff. Now it's exclusive to the bundle, but now they're doing reversible posters. I mean, there's a lot of things to get into with this set too. Like they don't have the original camera negatives either for these 4Ks. And they don't have the first movie. They just have 2 and 3. I think the first movie's with another company.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, if you didn't watch my video, I mostly was talking primarily about the bundle and the posters. Like, I wasn't even really getting into the editions at all. Like, this was kind of even before, John came out with his post. So this was more drama before when I did my video. But I was talking primarily about the posters being like, you make these bundles for collectors, but at the same time, the things you're choosing to do in these bundles for collectors don't want. It makes no sense. Like, why would you have 2 iconic posters reversible. Like, hey, you can either put up 2 or 3 instead of being like, hey, you can put up both right next to each other. It doesn't make sense. It's a cost-cutting bullshit where they could have easily had 2 posters, one being commissioned art, one side, the other side being an OG, and then you can just choose what you want. But they decided to make it one side is one movie, the other side is the other, which I don't think they've ever really done before, except for new releases coming out now. Like, it seems like that's where they're going to save some paper, I guess. But it just really kind of irked me because I don't, it's not even for me because I'm probably not even going to hang these things up. I don't have room for 18 by 24 posters, but I know a lot of people that do hang these Scream Factory posters up because they're OG artwork. They're a little smaller, but most people can't afford.
Well, those original
OG
posters
prints.
are both very,
those
very
hundreds
expensive.
of dollars for those 2 posters. So this would be really the next best thing for most people, but it's like you totally screwed them. So it's either you buy the bundle and then try to buy one of these posters that someone's selling to get a second one, or are they like, do they really think we're going to buy 2 bundles to get the other poster? I don't know.
I think that's what they're hoping, that there's going to be some people that are going to buy 2 to get both.
And there will.
posters.
Even if they went up $5 and gave us 2 posters, I mean, people are going to go out to eBay and spend $25-$30 to get the other poster from somebody to just be able to display these things. And it's like they're totally just leaving money on the table to what? For why? To just like stick it to the people like one more time. I don't really understand the mindset there.
And you mentioned
none of us would have ever made that decision either. Like, I can't think of anybody that would say, "Oh yeah, let's do a double-sided." Like, who in the collector scene would be like, "Oh, I'm cool with that."
Those 2 posters too, like those are 2 very sought after posters. So especially if you would have done them individually, you can get part 2 with the poster, part 3 with the poster, whatever. People would have been like very excited about it, and they're getting a ton of backlash over this. You know, not just this, but like the whole thing with John Claza from Sleepaway Camp Movies, who helped out with both of the other versions and said that they never reached, he didn't know hardly anything about these releases until they made that announcement. And, you know, he helped them with all kinds of stuff in the past. Anchor Bay, he was a part of that big Anchor Bay set. And there's different cuts of the movies that he could have offered them and all that, and they just didn't have an interest in it. So
Yeah, I saw something. He said something about part 3, like a different cut of it or something.
yeah.
like a more uncut version. I think also the same post he mentioned, I could have gotten interviews, I could have gotten all this other stuff to add into it, but I don't think there's anything new. I could be wrong.
There's some new stuff, but he could have gave them
A lot more,
basically. And I actually talked to him about it yesterday, you know, and kind of what's going on. And we brought up the original Sleepaway Camp, and he really doesn't know where the rights are to that. He said that he does think that the original print it got ruined during the process of like some screenings and stuff that happened a couple of years ago. He doesn't know for sure where anything is, but yeah, he was just more, I think, pissed because not only did they come back to him about new stuff, they didn't, but like he said they didn't even have the audacity to contact him and say, hey, listen, we're putting out these new editions. We're going to use a lot of the stuff that you did with us. Are you cool with that we re-release it? Like they didn't even, like he thought they would at least just reached out to him and just been like, hey, FYI, here's what's going on, and we plan on using a lot of the stuff we did with you before, you know, just a heads up. And he's like, you know, that wasn't even done. You just think out of a courtesy, they would have done that. And if they would have, I would have said, hey, listen, I'll be happy to provide you with more stuff for these new editions that haven't been out yet. And he's like, but they never gave me the time of day. And then seeing the press release or whatever came out, he said that all his stuff is listed there, but his name is not with it. So he doesn't know if they're trying to pretend like he does. I don't know what they're doing really, but he's not happy. I know that much.
They're doing what every company does. If they make money, they always want to make more. So cut whatever we can, minimize it, and they think the people out there will buy it no matter what, and there'll be a certain amount of people that do. So whether you make money, they always want more. So how we do? We cut things. We cheap out on things.
Yeah, it's a
They're always
scheming.
All these people complaining, you know, about the posters and stuff, they're not going to change that either. You know that, right? They're not going to change it. It's going to be a double-sided poster. I mean, I don't think that Scream Factory would be like, hey, sorry, we're going to actually change it to two-sided posters. I mean, That's
And
not
would
gonna
it
happen.
would it really have cost them a lot to add a second poster? Would that really have been such a expensive venture?
I don't think so, because think back to the Halloween 4Ks when those came out. All of those had individual posters, and
Chucky
you
had
can't tell
2
me it's
posters
like-
per movie.
Yeah,
They had
so you
2
can't
each,
tell
I
me
think.
it's like, oh, well, shipping's too expensive or whatever. I mean, because if you ordered all that stuff back then, I mean, you were getting like what, 5 posters in the mail with it.
Yeah, and they
So
could have
what's the
added that poster to the tube easily. They could have rolled them both into one
Oh
tube.
yeah, roll
you know
them
what I
too.
mean?
Yeah, that's true. Exactly.
Here's another thing
So-
too, though, guys. Like the Sleepaway Camp sequels, like how good are those movies really even going to look in 4K?
Not
Think
that
about
good.
it. They're very cheaply made.
I hope they look good. I think they probably will look better than the DVD, and maybe even like a little bit better than a Blu-ray would. But it's not,
Well,
it's not.
I wanna
James
get to the-
Cameron 4K.
To the chat really quick, because Pred saying that maybe they're getting to doing double-sided posters to get into the LED game, but that's
not true.
That's
yeah,
a different sort
right.
of poster, right?
because they're doing like part 1 on one side, part 2 on the other side. So even if you had a light box,
That'd look like
wouldn't
dog shit in the light
reflect
bulb.
yeah,
it would.
it would be a disaster, right? So it's
terrible.
giving you 2 movies on both sides, and that's where I think if they did a double-sided poster, but you got 2 posters, who cares? That's fine, whatever. But to have you have to choose one to hang up is where I
Well,
think
they did. There is 2 posters technically because there's new artwork that was done by Devin. What's his name?
Whitehead.
Devin Whitehead, who does a lot of stuff with Scream Factory. And ultimately, what they could have done, man, this is what I would have done. I think Garrett, you might have mentioned something like this. Because basically, like that one poster of his is 2 posters on one. You could have done those as exclusive posters. The bundle could include 4 total posters, and everybody would have been happy, right? And you could do them individually as well. But
Well, you know what else is wild too is the size of that Whitehead print that they did is such a weird size that you literally it would cost you more money than this bundle to get that frame. And that's what's even more wild. Like that's not a normal size. I mean, I do poster stuff all the time. That's like a custom frame job.
well,
If you
this
wanna
isn't a
hang that thing up, and
lithograph
that's gonna
either,
cost
right?
you-
They used to do lithographs that were odd sizes too. I think this.
Yeah,
was just a
I don't know what
poster.
the paper is on this one, but the sizing's like a real funky size where like you literally would probably pay $100 at least to get that thing framed. So it's just to me, it's kind of like, why would they do that? Why wouldn't they just do the 2 posters so people can actually hang these things up and not have to go spend another $100 to frame this thing? Unless they're like, oh, people just tape them on their walls still. I don't know what the mindset is on that.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
the
a lot of money.
collectors.
Yeah.
Yeah, the collectors that are spending $78, $70, $80 on your thing are gonna, tack or tape their poster to the wall. Who does that? Nobody's doing that. Like,
Yeah, it's
I
a
don't-
wild
I don't
size.
understand
16.5 by 28.5. is
What that
Noisley
doesn't
says.
even like I've never seen that kind of poster.
why not
anywhere.
just go 18?
Yeah, you can't go in Hobby Lobby and get a frame for that. It's custom made.
Isn't the closest size like 1824?
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't that make sense? Because you can get frames 1824.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And then like 24 by 36 would be the next common one, then 27 by 40.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's not a 16.5 by 28.5 that I've ever seen.
No, there's not many of those hanging around Walmart.
Who owns the original film?
They don't.
I don't
even
know, but I don't know if the director still's got it or what. But like, you would think if Scream Factory had it, they would be idiots to not have put it out with this. So that's why I'm thinking there's either no material or they don't have it anymore.
put the 4th one out.
Jesus
People
Christ.
want to forget about those.
You know what though? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if these sell well. If they're like, we're doing Return, right? Because
We're
like
doing a
they
4K of
did,
Return
they
to
did
Sleepaway
Creep Show
Camp by
3. I
itself,
mean,
yeah.
come on, they might
You
do
need
it.
the opening, the Sleepaway Camp.
Who put out the DVD of that back in the day? I
Was
remember
it
that was a
Magnet?
big deal.
Well,
Some
Return-
asshole.
Return to Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Return.
Magnet, I believe.
Some asshole.
That movie is such dog shit. Oh my god. Is that the one where Felissa Rose is like dressed with like a mustache on and
You got the fake
that's it.
voice that.
yeah. And,
That
and
was one that
fucking-
like
and they keep making like Sopranos references because Big Pussy's in the movie.
half of it was made like years and years before, right? Like,
Oh no,
Yeah.
that was the other one. That was the other. That was
no.
the site exclusive. That was the Survivor or whatever.
no, the same thing happened with Return to Sleepaway Camp though too, because I think we were talking to
was.
Felissa Rose about it because they had filmed, like it was online, like people were like talking about it online, and then it was probably 2 or 3 years later that they finished it. And man, they should have
What,
just
Robert ran out of money or something?
left it
that it?
unfinished. Yeah.
Dude, I can't. That like little fat fucking asshole that's in that movie. Jesus Christ, man.
Oh yeah.
Your
God,
ass
yeah.
stinks.
I forgot about that.
That was his catchphrase. Fucking
Jesus
guy.
Christ.
Oh.
I was
You know
just
what they're
thinking.
gonna do? No, I was gonna say, you know what they're gonna do is they're gonna be like, okay, we learned our lesson with the Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3. Here, what we're gonna do for you is we're gonna release Return to Sleepaway Camp, and it's gonna come with a single-sided poster. You're welcome, everybody.
Dude, the last thing I bought from them, I'm not even shitting. The last thing I bought from Scream Factory was Alligator and Alligator 2 when they came out. That was like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
They've been dog shit since then. I mean, I know everybody went crazy over the Chucky movies. I wasn't gonna pay for them because I mean I like those movies, but after the shit drizzle on the discs, I stayed away.
Oh, that.
And they've been falling downhill ever since then.
I'll tell you what I do. I hate that company so bad. What I do is when there's something that I want, like I usually trade with somebody. Like Dirk is really good with that. If there's something that I've got, Dirk will buy it or whatever, and I'll trade him something, right? So the last thing that I got was that not Sleepaway Camp. I've got that on the brain. The Stepfather 4K. Because I didn't have that on anything, oddly enough. I don't know why, but yeah.
We should do the auction show again because I have so many fucking Vinegar Syndrome things I can do without that I bought that I wish I hadn't.
Fuck Vinegar
So we all.
Yeah, I could make a list of like
Assholes.
buyer's remorse of Vinegar Syndrome movies that I bought that I was just like,
Wait,
I'm
is
sure
this-
everybody could.
Did they
Pieces
get it?
of
Did they
shit.
do? Did they piss people off with something recently?
yeah.
Yeah,
Fuck,
they-
What did they? What did they do? Because I saw Sean Clark was upset about them for something. What did they do?
Well, Movie Junkie John shared this on the Discord. He had a friend who was a dear friend who bought every release they had, right? He recently
Wore their
passed away.
shirts and everything all the time.
He had passed away, and so Sean Clark went to one of the booths and said, "Hey, listen, man, this guy would have loved to. He bought everything. He was your number one fan. Would it be okay if maybe on Facebook, have a little bit of word? Hey, this is a guy who believed in us, really supported us, true fan." They're like, "Yeah, we'll put something on Facebook." Silence. He asked again. Silence. And it just went on from there. And other people, they just totally ignored him. They gave him the runaround. But they'll talk about a band that went to a fucking thing.
I
But
mean,
not
that thing that's that kind of shitty because I mean, how easy is it to put a post up really quick about something
10
like
seconds.
That's not a big. It's not like he asked them, "Hey, can you dedicate the next release to my friend and put this?"
Yeah.
Like he just said, "Can you put something on social media?" Like that takes seconds, dude. That's
And then they
that's
said
kinda
yes,
weird
and then
about
they didn't do it. It's like, so you lied about it.
Yeah,
I
there's
think
something you ended up
everybody's-
making like a donation or something, but I don't know what the situation is with the guy, but there was some sort of issue with his family.
Sean, without saying, said more than likely the family led to this guy ending his life. So Sean's like, they don't really deserve a dime. I know you meant well, but don't do a GoFundMe for them. It would be better. Like, this guy would have loved 5 words from you guys on their site, and they just ignored that because they felt they knew better or something. And again, if you can't take 10 seconds to put a post up, and then you say yes, and then you get the fuck out of here. Fucking troglodytes. Fuck
Here's my prediction:
assholes.
they're going on a similar trajectory as Scream Factory, even though Scream Factory is obviously a much, much, much bigger company. They're not a boutique label because they're a subsidiary of Shout Factory. But as far as I've noticed people have been turning against Vinegar Syndrome. Their whole gimmick that was popular 5-6 years ago, everybody else has passed them up on. Severn does the same thing, does it better.
Severn
has their number on everything, on how the packaging now, the quality. I mean, fuck, I put that Cemetery Man 4K up against anything Vinegar Syndrome ever put out. And then they're on top of just, they can't afford to be shitty to their fans like that because they're not in a good position as it is anyway. But
they're making money. Like Christian he said they're just making hundreds of thousands of dollars.
It's like they're releasing dog shit, which they've always have done, but they're also releasing like the most generic, forgetful fucking movies like Navy SEALs and Congo and shit like that. It's
Congo ain't that bad, goddamn. I get what you mean.
I mean, I don't dislike Congo, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's like, totally not. There's
nothing special about Vinegar Syndrome.
Yeah. Is that what brought them to the dance?
Right, but like their whole gimmick, any other boutique label does it better. Severn's better, Second Sight's better, Arrow's better. Like, what's so special about Vinegar Syndrome? Their packaging, everybody's caught up to that. Their transfers, I've got 4K transfers in there that are dog shit from Vinegar Syndrome. I mean, I don't know. And then I just don't see the appeal of them anymore. I feel like they were ahead of the curve circa 2020, 2021, 2025. Everybody else is caught up with them and doing their whole shtick better. And they're not as obnoxious to all those other places. They don't have this they hype up a sale and then you get there and it's, shrieking and mutilated or some shit,
Cinematograph line of movies too. God damn. What a fucking fart smelling line of fucking films. Jesus Christ.
You talk about the partner labels?
No, well, this is like the new sub label that the partner labels and their sub labels, right? This is technically still Vinegar Syndrome, but it's like these artsy fucking dog shit movies that nobody gives a fuck about.
Basically, like film school movies, almost.
Right?
They're not good enough to be on the Criterion artsy level.
Some goddamn Robert De Niro baseball movie from the 70s that they put out that nobody ever heard of. Yeah, there's a reason ain't nobody fucking heard of it, right? But yeah, they're like, right, let's sniff our asses.
Well, listen, they put out wasn't Red Rock West Cinematograph. That's a good movie. I like that one. I won't give them shit on that.
Bang the drum slowly. Okay.
Yeah, bang the drum slowly.
Bang the drum slowly.
I mean, I'm looking at their website right now. Like, what the fuck? They released Enter the Void. That's a good movie, but I bought that on Arrow, in a nice box set 3 years ago. So,
well, that's just a partner label. That's not even
okay. That's IFC. But they're all their partner labels. It's kind of the same.
Yeah.
To a certain extent.
You know what I think hurt them as well too was TerraVision, because I feel like, remember when they came back and they announced hey, we just licensed 300 lesser known movies. I mean, that's a big chunk of movies that Vinegar Syndrome probably was eyeing, right? And they're doing a pretty good job with some of their stuff. I don't buy all their stuff, but the Gator Bait, that, there's no reason that should have got that edition that it's getting. And same with Rumpelstiltskin. Right. I mean, I think that was a great addition. I think what they're doing with Gator Bait is fantastic. I mean, it's really bringing new light to a movie that no one's ever seen before. So I think that really hurt them too, because I bet that probably took a lot of titles that maybe they were eyeing. I mean, I'm sure they would have loved to put out Rumpelstiltskin. I'm sure they would have probably loved to put out Gator Bait, right? But maybe that was a problem, is that a lot of those got swiped up before they had a chance to even go after, because the guy that was working, that's doing TerraVision, came right from Vinegar Syndrome. He knew what the hell he was doing. He was acquiring stuff for them, so why not just go to a new job and be like, I'll just acquire it for you guys now.
But it's just weird. There was a point in time three years ago where they were releasing shit that it was genuine looked over gems. They were releasing shit like Champagne and Bullets, which is just insane. If you've ever seen that movie, yes, that's a gem. That's a gem if they're compared to what they're releasing now.
Didn't they have the sequel that was shit in Champagne, right? Didn't they have a movie called that?
No, I don't know.
Remember in Champagne and Bullets, he's laying in bed and he goes like this, and you see a hand from outside the screen, hand of water.
Fucking guy was singing karaoke like it was great. And he's still a lawyer, I think, in wherever he's at.
Dude, they had like that movie's so great. He does all the music. So there's like 3 different sex scenes with this porn actress that he hired, and it's like him being like, "Baby, I love you."
The hot
It's the
tub scene.
cringy shit.
I'll be with you.
The shit. What's the song? The Shimmy Slide, where he's like, it's his big singing number, and you could tell in his face he's fucking petrified. He's just like, they have like the cue cards of the words on the screen.
It's like somebody has a gun to him, like
Yeah.
on camera.
This is like if Eric C. Kahn made a movie or something.
It
like that.
is,
That's how he
yeah.
that's how
Well,
he
not
would
only
do it.
that, in the special features, he did a second cut because, you know, even if he has a lot of money as a lawyer, not enough money to make a second movie. So he just made separate cuts of his movie. And there's a version called Get Even where he splices in him like in front of like a like doing karate moves and shit, like he's in a dojo, and it's like deep like digital video footage. He's much older and he's got like a bandana on. He looks pretty rad, actually. I got to give him that. And he's just like doing all kinds of shit. But like I don't know what their deal is, but like I think Severin's passed them up. I really do. Which is funny because a few years ago after the Four Flies debacle, it was like, damn, Severin really fucked up. And ever since then, they've been on like a roll, man. They really have.
Yeah.
And their sales are way better. Vinegar Syndrome, there's no such thing as a sale. They'll call it a sale, but it's not a sale. Severin, I bought like 12 movies for like $30 a few months ago. So
I was going to ask, with their partner labels, their regular releases, how many do they release a month? Vendor
I think that's a problem with a lot of people, though, too. Is like, it's hard to keep up, man. That's why.
That's what I'm going to ask. How do you keep up if you release that
There's
much?
no way. I don't keep up with it. Yeah,
I think that's why everybody's assuming it's expensive. It's expensive, sure, but like when you've got 5 different boutique labels releasing 4 titles a month, I mean, regardless, even if they cost each $20, like how can you even keep up with that?
That's what I was telling Jay. You should really look into sending them copies of Dawn, because I would almost guarantee you that one of these partner labels would put it out.
Oh yeah,
get you some extra cash there.
You might send me a link or whatever, maybe some labels that you think that might be interested. Because I think you said Vinegar Syndrome had some like subsidiary labels.
What is it, like probably 15 or 16 different sub labels or partner
VHS
labels?
Shitfest could do it. You know what I mean? There's so many that could probably throw that thing out there.
Yeah.
But I've got a ton of, behind the scenes crap and all that, that
I would definitely look into it, because it's.
I recently backed a bunch of that stuff up, so.
You're looking.
I guarantee
you're looking to raise some money too for like some new equipment and all that too, so that'd work out perfect.
Laptop in particular is what I need for editing for my.
I guarantee you, your movie is way better than the vast majority of shit that gets released on those partner labels. 1,000%.
Oh, no doubt.
Like not even close.
Yeah.
I think I remember when I thought they were going to go more into the wrestling route when they released Glow and Hitman Heart, and they never did, which is disappointing because that Hitman Heart sold out in like 24 hours.
It would have been pretty cool if they would have started release. Do you remember back in the day in the 2000s, they had those like backyard wrestling? Like
yeah.
I would love to see those come back out in like a big box set or something. Then you had like the backyard babes and all this other shit. Remember all
Fat
that?
guys hitting each other with light tubes. Yeah.
They could do a box set of the incredibly strange wrestling promotion from like the late 90s. I think it was in Las Vegas or something like that. It was the one that had a real homeless man was the president of the company or whatever.
What?
And they would like give him bottles of vodka as payment for him to like talk to the camera, but he didn't know what in the hell he was really saying.
Was that the one with the AIDS? Was that the one the AIDS syringe match?
The AIDS syringe deal. And, yeah. I've got one of those tapes somewhere still.
If anybody from Vinegar Syndrome is listening, contact Rob Black and release in 4K the XPW where New Jack throws Vic Grimes off the scaffold. That whole show. Release it.
Yeah.
It would fit up their alley.
4K of Heroes of Wrestling.
Yes. You got 21, I got 22. 22 means you lose blackjack.
Somebody's asking in the chat, and this is a good question. I have no idea. Is where the hell is Murder Set Pieces, anyways? Like, I ordered that thing like last year sometime.
It was in November, for Black Friday or whatever. Is when it first went up. And
who's releasing that?
Massacre.
Massacre, yeah.
I'm guessing it's one of those deals where they don't sell nearly as much as some of these other companies, so there's probably not even been that many people that ordered it.
I think it's still up. I don't even think it's sold out.
It is
So
up,
he's-
yeah.
I ain't gonna send this out or get it pressed until I get this many orders. It's like you've been waiting for so long.
Jesus. What else
Made
has
to order.
this company done?
Massacre. They did Toxic Zombies, which I was excited for, but it's all subtitled. I have a DVD that's dubbed. I don't
Hack-a-lantern.
understand why they didn't. Oh, Hack-a-lantern. I love Hack-a-lantern. You like Hack-a-lantern? But they announced a 4K of that too, and it never amounted to anything.
4K of fucking Apple.
By the way,
You gotta have that.
and fuck these all subtitle only shit. I'm glad I watched. I've been wanting to thank Garrett for making that video. I was gonna pull the trigger on Godzilla versus Biollante to Criterion until you told me it was subtitle only, and I'm like,
Appreciate that.
that's.
I mean, I hate
that's
saying
part of
that
the
because
gimmick.
obviously the purists are gonna get pissed at those statements. But man, like as a kid,
That's part of the gimmick.
That's
the
what made
dubbing.
me love Godzilla was watching
Yeah.
this weird dubbing and falling in love with it. But now you're gonna Criterion's gonna be like, we're only gonna do it the most pure way, and it's like I don't want to watch it that way.
Yeah, no, fuck that.
Well, the Criterion people love sniffing their own farts too.
Yeah, which is fine and all, but at the end of the day, it's a Godzilla movie. Outside of the original, the first one, none of them are to be taken seriously. So,
Yeah, it's not Citizen Kane.
right, exactly.
It's a $1.09 super chat from Front Row at a Diddy Party. He's asking favorite Vinegar Syndrome blind buy, worst blind buy.
And favorite baby oil.
My favorite would be Thriller: A Cruel Picture because I had never seen that and I thought it was really fucking awesome. Love that movie, and I'm not even a fan of that genre movie. The worst would probably be Shriek of the Mutilated because I was promised a Bigfoot. Like, I'm a sucker for Bigfoot slasher, like Bigfoot type of horror movies, especially from the 70s. And it's not, and it's a total piece of shit. And stay far away from it. It's one of the worst pieces of shit I've ever seen. So fuck that
I think
movie.
my favorite blind buy was that Dial Code Santa Claus. Like I'd heard people talk about that movie for forever, and yeah, man, it lived up to like all the expectations. Worse, that's a tough one because there's been a lot of terrible ones. The Fear is one that instantly popped up. I don't know if that's the worst, but good lord.
Is that the Wes Craven one?
Yeah, he's briefly in it.
Yeah.
I don't want to interrupt you guys. I'm gonna duck out. I don't even collect physical media anymore, so it's hard for me to get into this conversation.
You're a smart man.
Yeah, you're one of the. Yeah,
It's
you're
not.
one of the
It's
smart
not worth
ones.
it.
Yeah,
It's not worth
I
it.
still don't have a 4K player, so maybe someday. But anyway, y'all have a good
All
night.
right, you have a good night, Jay.
Thanks
Good
for letting
getting
me
you on
play
there, man.
what little bit I did play.
Take
So-
care.
Later,
See you,
Jay.
buddy.
DJ.
Anybody have a worse Vinegar Syndrome blind buy?
I don't
I
blind
can't
buy
think of
anything.
offhand, but I talked about this on a video not too long ago I did on Instagram, but The Caller still shocked me when I watched it for the first time. I had never even heard of that
Yeah.
movie before I bought it, and when I
Yeah,
did, I
yeah,
was like, holy
that's-
shit, this is a freaking great movie.
That's one of
I'll
my
put it in
favorite
that
blind buys for sure. Is The Caller, Dial Code Santa Claus. That's another one. I had never seen Scanner Cop. Those two movies when I bought it, and those are amazing. So
Yeah.
that's another good
Yeah.
one. So I mean, I've had like a good solid handful of stuff I've never seen that I bought from them that I ended up really liking, like the Angel movies and stuff like that. But
Oh yeah, those are great.
there's a couple that I can't even remember what they were because I sold them. That was like as far as the worst goes. I can't even remember. I just like would watch it once and be like, yeah, that's not
Yeah.
for me, and then I just sell it.
The Cellar was also a pretty bad one.
God, yeah, that was a
movie
tough
sucked.
watch.
I like creature features, and that movie is dog shit.
Yeah, now I would have to look at my shelf, but yeah, there's a lot that was like, jeez.
One of my
I'd say-
favorites is by far Miami Connection. I've watched that
Yeah,
movie so
yeah.
many fucking times.
That movie's great.
You know, another one is.
I'm not scared of you at her.
I think one of the biggest accomplishments that they ever made was that re-edit, or I guess
Oh yeah, New York Ninja.
New York Ninja. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
See, okay, this is what I'm talking about. They used to do shit like Miami Connection, New York Ninja, Ticks, like genuinely fun, like cheesy movie. And now what are they? It's like either the worst of the worst or like more kind of mainstream shit that's
They
like
do fucking Navy SEAls in 4K.
yeah.
That's when I fell off. I was like, I don't ever want Navy SEAls. I don't need it in my collection. And because
Buddy.
up to that point, I was collecting all those VSU releases.
Dude, get ready. I guarantee you they're gonna release Pootie Tang as a VSU. Just watch. That's what's gonna happen. Put money on it right now.
I mean, I'm
Norbit.
excited for
I would
Dirty
be
Work.
excited for Norbit.
Oh, Dirty Work. Hell yeah. I'm excited for that. Wes has
Yeah.
never seen that, dude. I think he's going to really like it. I think that's
Really.
one of the better comedies.
I think I ordered that.
Should.
You know
I
what?
can't
You
remember.
should if you
You
have.
know what's ironic? It's Chris Farley's last movie, and his nose is all fucked up. But that's what Artie Lang's nose looks like now from snorting all that heroin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a Saigon whore bit his nose off.
You ever notice in that scene where he's fucking with the jukebox and he screams "Hell yeah" in that guy's face? He did it like off the fly. He wasn't supposed to scream in his face, and you could see the guy just go like the actor just jump back.
Yeah, that's a classic. Like that type of comedy, you just can't beat it. I mean, Norm Macdonald, obviously amazing. I mean, if you're a Norm fan, that's a must-have. There's no way you can go without it. I like the
Classic-
movie a lot. It's
classic
not like an
late 90s
amazing movie,
soundtrack.
but it's stupid funny. You know, it's like really stupid funny.
He has that weird comedic tone to him that's like so dry, or like it just works so well. And like even still to this day, the one scene that stood out to me when I saw it that I just still laugh my ass off is with Don Rickles in the freaking movie theater scene. Oh my god, like I freaking die at that when he's like everybody sucking sand. He's
Yeah. Someone over there.
yeah. Hello, ice cream running around, having a good time.
You know, it's impressive. Think of all the people that's died since that movie. You know, obviously Don
Farley,
Rickles been
Norm.
dead for a while.
Yeah.
Farley, Norm, Bob Saget died.
Oh yeah.
Artie's still around though. The last
Yeah.
thing I've ever seen from Artie was he was doing community service, picking up garbage.
Trying to
Did
get
you
your
guys
nose
ever?
fixed.
You guys ever seen that video? Like a fan, like a Howard
No.
Stern fan, like started recording on his phone, and Artie's in the back of a garbage truck. And he's in like, he wasn't pissed off or anything. He was like joking. He's like, yeah, I get to do manual labor again. As he's taking a guy's garbage and throwing it in a garbage truck. And
Wild to see like that. What's happening?
yeah,
Norm and Bob Saget died within 6 months of each other. Wow. I didn't know
That's
that.
True, yeah.
and I think Gilbert died. Gilbert Gottfried died like right
Yeah.
after. All those old Stern, like when the Howard Stern show was at its best, like all those regulars like died pretty much around the same time. It's crazy.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
yeah, I love Norm. I even like Screwed, and I know people hate that movie with him and Dave Chappelle. I always thought that movie was stupid
Oh
funny.
yeah, I remember
Where
that.
he screws up like trying to kidnap himself, and yeah, that's a good
Right.
one.
Yeah.
Well, this is open topic, guys. Anybody else have anything? Go for it. Throw it at us.
I just see people in the comments asking, like, did anybody ever meet Eric Freeman? I met him before. He was fine. He was a good guy.
Eric from Return. I mean,
Silent
Silent
Night.
Night, Deadly Night. Yeah.
Mhm.
Didn't Pizzow find him? Like he was missing
Yeah.
or something? And yeah.
Yeah,
And
he's
oh,
been
is he
on
one of
his-
those
I think
people
he
that-
helps him with conventions and stuff too, if I'm not mistaken.
I think he was one of those guys that were like genuinely surprised that people like remembered his
yeah.
performance and cared after all those years. I'm sure there was a period of time where he was just kind of like stayed away from the limelight because he was probably embarrassed, but that people have genuinely liked it and embraced it. That's probably like the best feeling.
For sure. I think there's a lot of people that have found that out, especially through the things of like conventions and these new physical media releases coming out, that there's actually an audience out there that give a shit. I think a lot of people, but I also think there's been a lot of people that have kind of screwed the system on that too. Like what's the big one going around now? It's like whoever was
Jason's
like
feet.
Jason's legs. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
and like when they show the convention, they just show like the legs. Like at the
Yeah, we were
bottom.
talking about that a little bit earlier.
Oh, was it like that?
Who would have even known that? Like, I didn't know there was a lady that played Jason's legs.
I didn't either.
That was a new one on me. Love Machine with a $4.99 super chat. What movies you guys knew of for years and just kept putting off? When you finally watched it, you end up loving it way more than expected.
I feel like that just happened, but I can't remember what it was.
Oh,
think
shit.
of one off
Hold
top.
Man, hold on. I feel as though there's one.
I'll tell you a funny story. I can't think of one for me personally, right? But there are so many classic movies that my wife had never seen before. Her and I got together, got married and everything. And the funny thing is, like, every time she finally watches these movies, she's like, oh, well, that was actually pretty good. Like the fucking Goonies, The Wizard of Oz, shit like that.
Did you ever ask her like what she was doing as a young kid?
No, because like I think that she had said like her parents, they didn't really watch a whole lot of TV back in the day, and they couldn't have, because The Wizard of Oz was like on TV like every Christmas. It was on like NBC or whatever. So I don't know how you would miss that.
I'm ashamed to say I hadn't seen Casablanca until like a few years ago, and it's as good as everybody says it is. So there's that. A movie that's been well renowned for almost 80 years. Yeah, it's very good. So.
I still haven't watched Indiana Jones movies, so it is that's the thing.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I don't know how that's possible, Garrett. Like you're
I don't either.
the
But I bought
nostalgia.
all the 4Ks with the idea of this summer my brother and I are gonna watch them for them. He's never seen them either. It just never like Indiana Jones. We knew who he was, but like it never for some reason crossed our house. I don't know why.
Okay.
Like we watched Star Wars and all this other shit.
I'm curious, since you have no context, no like preconceptions of any of like which one people say are good, but I'm curious out of the first three which one you'll like the most, because since you have that fresh perspective, I mean, it could really.
I think it'll be the third one. That'd be my opinion.
That's the one I watched the most when I was a kid, because my
Me too.
grandparents had it on VHS tape, and I watched it all.
I think it's the one that's aged the best too. Like today, watching it, it still holds up really well. Everything in it does.
Yeah,
but I saw that one in the theater too, so I'm a little bit partial. That was like the first one that I saw, and I got into the Indiana Jones movies before I got into Star Wars as a kid.
See, with Star Wars, I was a young kid, and I got the for Christmas. My grandfather got me. I was like 5 years old. The last box set of those original versions on VHS, because before everyone, it was like for the last time, and it was around the time Lucas was doing pre-production on the prequels, and like that's the versions I got accustomed to, and especially like Return of the Jedi was my least favorite of three, but like I always thought the sequence at Jabba's palace was like the coolest shit, and they just butchered it. And then those Lucas re-edits with the Looney Tune characters bouncing off the wall and shit, and it's like there was nothing wrong with the Muppet character, like Muppet, alien characters on the band, and I had to spend an ass load of money on Etsy buying like the original trilogy. Somebody got those 4K versions, despecialized versions, and they put them on. Yeah, and it was worth it, because now I get, whenever I want to watch the original trilogy and not just get aggravated out of my mind, I can watch it. Because I think honestly,
there's the 4Ks of those out now too.
Yeah,
is that what
I bought
you
them.
got?
Somebody was selling them on Etsy. They made the original CBS Fox VHS covers into like slip covers and shit like that.
Yeah, those are like, people can bitch all they want to, but like the fans did that. Like that was,
oh yeah.
You really don't need to support the fucking shit ass studios, which I wouldn't. Disney, I wouldn't recommend anyway, even if they ever come out with it, which I don't think that was in the deal. I don't think it's ever coming out.
Right. No, and I hate Star Wars, which is ironic because I like those three movies a lot. I just hate them. I think it's the most overrated franchise in the history of film franchises.
Well, it's been bastardized to death too.
They made three good movies over 40 years ago, and they've made just dog shit since then.
When you get to the point with fucking Disney when they're making Darth Vader toasters, they can go shit and fall back in it, man. I saw the fucking Darth Vader dehumidifier in Kohl's one day.
C3PO EpiPens.
Yeah. It's just
garbage.
To me, it's ruined that entire. Like, I don't ever really want to watch those movies again. I don't care which,
Yeah.
if it's the original ones, the prequels, whatever. I'm just done. Like I
I'll
don't
say
have
this-
any interest.
And I don't like the prequels either, but despite the quality of the movies, it still felt like it was a special event when it was coming out in the early 2000s. Like they've just like, it's been so oversaturated and it's like, who cares? Like, it's just terrible. It's the most overrated franchise ever. Like they've made 3 good movies and they've made a million things since then, and none of them are worth the fuck. Like, and it also not to sound like superior or above it all, but it seems like it's like the Star Wars franchise is like the normie go-to fucking thing. I like Star Wars. It's like, who cares?
No, go for it. Feel superior.
Yeah,
Go
I mean,
to
it's
Star
just-
Wars
it's
Land
garbage.
or whatever, fucking
Yeah,
Disney World, whatever they call it.
which,
Ask Mark about it. He loves Star Wars.
Oh yeah, it's the best.
no,
Huge
it's-
fan. Huge.
And by the way, you ever hear the story of how the first Lucas turned in the first Star Wars, and it was a shit show? The editor's like, "What the fuck do you want me to do with this? It doesn't make any sense." And that first movie was saved in editing, like because Lucas had no idea what the fuck he was doing. Yeah, that's why he didn't direct the other movies, because he was like, "Yeah, I'm above my head with this."
Heather in the chat, one of the brand new baller and shot caller on Patreon, so I want to give her a shout out.
Cool.
Movie reactions that's a big thing on YouTube. Do you guys watch those?
No.
Like first reaction videos and stuff. People are making their faces.
I've seen a couple of them.
I just don't think I could be legit with it. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
like when I watch Indiana Jones, I want to be dialed in and locked in. I don't want to be worried about keeping people
Reacting.
happy on the other side, right? And I would rather just watch it than do a review right afterwards so I can have a fresh take on it. But I feel like if I'm on camera watching it, then you kind of almost like, you don't want to just be sitting there dialed in because it's boring for the people, right? So I'm not going to put on a facade either. So it's hard. You know, it was easy to do when we watched Cannibal Holocaust, because when those parts came, I mean, there's nothing
that's
I can do
genuine.
at that point, you know?
That's what I hope. I have nothing against the people that are genuine when they do it. The ones that are faking can go to hell. But a sick part of me wants, like, I hope they have some kind of system with their fans, some of these more popular ones, and they end up like, so today's our first day watching a movie from 1975 called Salo, 120 Days
I
of
think
Sodom.
we've got to do that. There's a 4K coming out.
Yeah.
We're going to do it. We're
We're gonna
going
have
to do it.
The Salo watch party with Garrett, Christmas time. We're going to eat some lightly baked brownies.
Listen, if I ever have to watch that fucking movie ever again, Garrett, you're gonna have to suffer with
I've
this.
never seen it, so I don't even know.
It's-
To be honest, I don't know anything about it. Like,
It's
I've
really
heard like
not even that bad. I swear, like
No, it's horrible, dude.
It's a lot.
It's-
There's some
it's
hilarious
disgusting.
shit in it, though. I
it's too
think.
like over the top. You know,
Literally.
yeah, exactly. You'll laugh.
No,
You
man.
know what's wild though with some of those reactor videos. Like sometimes I like wonder if like a lot of it's bullshit in the sense that
Yeah.
there's somebody like my age, right? Like doing them, and he's like got his, he'll do music or movies, and he'll be like, and he'll say first time hearing the Beatles, and I'm like, come on.
First
Yeah,
time watching
yeah.
Sesame Street.
How has he gone through 40 years and never
Yeah.
heard like a Beatles track? You know what I mean? Like sometimes I just wonder, like, yeah, it's weird that I haven't seen Indiana Jones. I totally understand that. But I've seen and listened to most 80s music and most 80s movies. For some reason, that one just didn't cross my path, but like Flight of the Navigator did. So I mean, like it's just weird shit like that. But when people are doing like, first time hearing, AC/DC or something, he's like 45. I'm thinking to myself, well, come on. Like you never listened to the radio ever as a kid, like I don't know. Sometimes I don't buy a lot of those.
Two girls and one cup was fake, right? That had to be fake.
No, I mean fake as in a fake as in a
Mm.
sense is that it was shoved up there and then forced out.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, because it looked like
But
soft
still-
serve ice cream in some
Yeah,
No, I
scenes.
mean that's
But
real.
still,
shit, dude.
they're still
Right, yeah.
puking
I was
into
going to
each
say
other's.
that.
Yeah,
Oh, that was definitely real.
that was
As far
yeah.
as
That was
the shit was real. I mean, the video was probably planned, sure.
I don't know, they could take a syringe
a-
of soft serve ice cream and just
I was a
Extra fudge.
You could smell that video. That's how bad that was when you first saw it for the first time.
I was a freshman in high school eating pizza in the cafeteria. We had those
that was like a big thing
laptops
in
where
high
you'd
school.
spin the screen around, and my friend goes, "Hey, watch this." And anybody that's ever seen the video, you're like, "Okay," and then And it's
I
just
bet
like,
Vince McMahon was a big fan of that video.
wow, good shit, pal.
That's dude. Yeah.
Dr. Revelation.
Well, look,
Thankfully, I've never seen it.
that's
Thankfully,
I mean, you're
Now-
not a
now
real
you're gonna
one
get
until.
paid, now you're gonna get paid to watch it. Watch.
Yeah.
Hey,
Look,
I'll
dude, I
You're
would
not
at
a real
least.
one.
I wouldn't take you less than $50 to watch that again if I were
dude.
you.
I've
You're not
never
a real
seen it.
one.
I'll say right here, I will fake it. I'll be act like I'm watching the fucking stream.
Do you
If so
guys
requested,
remember?
I'm just gonna steal your money. I'm just for you.
You guys remember that the Mr. Hands video?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
You remember that? That was bad. That
Yeah, I
dude
remember
died.
that one.
They did a
Yeah.
whole documentary on that fucking guy.
They
do
did.
you remember
yeah.
the pickle jar video? Did you guys ever see
That was the worst one. That
Yeah.
was the worst one.
Jeez.
One man, one jar, or something
There's-
like that.
if
Yeah, so,
I think that
Anybody
was
wants to know more about that video? There's a guy on YouTube named Justin Wang, and he did like a deep dive on that video. And it's
What kind of
that's
fucking
the
videos you guys watch?
it.
I've never heard of any of these things.
You don't want to.
Pickle?
You don't want to do Justin Wang videos.
I've never
So,
heard that or pickles.
Justin
or
Wang
whatever
is
else.
great.
That's
So
a
this
match
guy-
made in heaven, a match made in hell.
This
When
guy,
you were raised, when you were raised by the internet, this is just the
Yeah.
stuff that,
Yeah.
that we.
this guy squeezes a big like mason jar in the place that it's not supposed to go, and then halfway through it shatters. And
You know how
Yeah.
you know my age,
Yeah.
and I'm sure I assume most of you are younger than me and Wes. I'm guessing. I don't know. I don't know about Mark. Maybe.
Mark,
but, like-
he's secretive. You never
So-
know.
I remember like when I first got the internet, the big thing was like that used to get you in trouble is you'd go on like I'd always go on wrestling sites, like news sites, scoops, and all that stuff. And like that was a big thing back in the day. So you're reading all the news, and then at the bottom of like every news story, there was this clickable link, and it used to say like the most random shit. And you didn't know any better. It was like click here to see like Vince banging Trish in the back or something. You know, and you're always like, and you
Yeah.
click on it, like you'd get all this spam shit all the
Take your
time.
bra
Like
off,
some of this
Trish.
stuff was insane. It was like video of Stephanie flashing
Dude.
Vince backstage or something. You're like,
Some
oh,
of the-
I gotta check this out.
Legit,
It was
though,
like the most random shit.
remember LimeWire?
Oh yeah.
Bear Share, that was my favorite.
God.
The stuff that Vince did with Trish, like, was almost a telltale sign that there was like, yeah, they ain't fucking. He's enjoying every bit of that. He ain't booking that for storylines.
No.
But you
That was
wonder,
the
how many divas do you think he had some kind of sexual relationship with? They never really
Christy
talked about
Hemme.
that, but I
Christy
mean, like,
Hemme was one. That was.
I think
well
Triple H
known.
had something going on with her too.
oh yeah, that was a big rumor for a while. Remember that?
Yeah.
Big ass.
But you
man.
always wonder. You would think that like he would have had to have some kind of relationship with some of these chicks.
Okay, did you?
Some of the
Did,
divas. He had, you would think
of course. Did you see that it resurfaced his inner? It was right before WrestleMania 17 because he was talking about his match that he was going to have with Shane, the street fight. He went on the Howard Stern show and he openly just said, "Yeah, I cheated on my wife a bunch. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course, Howard.
I
Like,
remember
yeah, like out in the open." And and then Howard starts pressing on him on his like past, I guess, abuse from his mother and stepfather, and Vince was like. I've never seen Vince kind of like be like, I prefer not to talk about that. It was like Vince, you could tell, was like clamming up. There's a reason why that interview up until like this year has been like scrubbed from the internet. And it was because they're really like, and then also in that, what's funny in that interview too, he openly admits, yeah, I'm going to buy WCW like a few days before it actually happened. But it's real interesting if you had just resurfaced the Howard Stern Vince interview. And then there was a Howard Stern Stephanie interview from like a year later. And
They
he was
talked
like,
about
"You
butt
mad?"
sex on that one. I remember that
He
one.
was like, he asked Stephanie, he goes, "Are you mad that your dad was, basically admitted to cheating on your mom?" She's like, "Yeah, I was upset with him, but I didn't yell. I was like, Dad, come on, did you really have to say that?" So it's like, it's been an open secret with that whole
I don't think
family
they
what Vince
care.
is doing. No,
Yeah.
that guy pumping that much testosterone in himself all those years and steroids. He was an animal around all those women.
Oh my God. I mean, even
how
that
nobody
scene where,
saw
like,
that
Stacy
coming.
Keibler came out for the first time is still just so classic. Where he was in the ring and she was dancing on the table, and he was like,
Yeah.
he fell off the chair.
I've been
swallow.
What's
I've
the
been
theme-
rewatching. I've been rewatching the Attitude Era from '97. I started early '97. Right now, I'm at like right around Backlash '99, And the last episode of Raw I watch is where he's doing that. The Ministry of Darkness is stalking Stephanie and wants to kidnap Stephanie. And they're doing this interview with Vince and Stephanie backstage, and it's when they inform him that Midian's back outside, and he's like, "Where's that son of a bitch? Where is he?" And he gets in a car and tries to murder Midian by running him over.
The storylines
so
back
over the top.
during that Attitude Era was just wild. Like even
great.
things you didn't think about, like there was a lot. Like when they were doing the Nation of Domination stuff, like there was so much like racism like in those storylines. It was insane.
Yeah.
Like with DX versus them, and then like they did blackface and all this other shit. Like I mean, there was so much, and even with the Boricuas and all that stuff, like there was so much stuff in there that you're like, wow, like I can't even believe this was even on television.
What about the storyline where Mark Henry's going around claiming that he had sex with China, so she gets revenge by hooking him up with a transvestite?
Oh yeah,
I remember that. Yeah.
And she reveals it in front of his mama. His mama's in the front row. Imagine getting away with that in 2025. But I mean, but you look at the ratings, and they were getting like 6 million viewers a night during that era. Like that was just where the country was, you know. And
I was
honestly,
in high school around that time, and you see these little memes and stuff, but literally, you were telling everybody in school to suck it like on a regular freaking basis. Like it wasn't even like that. You see that meme going around. That's not a joke. Like,
oh, dude, you
people were doing that to the teachers and shit. Like now you'd be in so much trouble. I remember my friend Mike, we went to an ECW show for the first time and we got shirts. I got like an RVD shirt, and he had this Francine shirt. It said Francine 469, kind of like the Austin one. And on the back, it says, "I just ate your ass." And I remember him wearing it to school like the next day. And like they actually sent him home to change because he had that shirt
the
on. Like,
Big Johnson shirts back in the day, too. They made you turn them inside out or whatever.
Yeah.
Dude, I just got to that, and I remember watching this. I was like 5 years old. I still thought it was real. When The Rock threw Stone Cold off the bridge, I thought he murdered him live on television. You remember that? Where they're like fighting, and he like throws him off, and it's clearly a dummy just falling to the water.
The Halloween Havoc, where the giant fell off the arena. He was like, "Oh, wow!"
And that's where the Yeti starts bear hugging Hogan.
Yeah, starts humping Hogan.
Oh my!
Is that the crazy monster trucks?
Yes. Yeah, the monster truck sumo match.
That was right after the sumo monster truck challenge or whatever the hell it was.
But
I got to say,
pulled each other around with a rope or something.
I got to say, I mean, it's been a blast to watch. It's definitely been entertaining, despite whatever negative you want to say. The Attitude Era, you can't say it wasn't entertaining. And I know that
it really was.
And I know that when Vince Russo leaves and the year 2000 rolls around, they say it's like the perfect mix of in-ring product and edgy storylines. Like the in-ring kind of goes up, which is crazy because that was the year that Austin was hurt for a whole year. And I remember going to a house show and seeing Triple H and The Rock for the first time. Which was
Do you
crazy.
think like whenever like the angle happened with Austin where he got run down the parking lot, like surely to God it wasn't the Rikishi thing all along? Like I wonder what the original plan was with that.
Well, I've seen an interview. There was a weird period of time in late '99 when Russo left, and they had no idea what to do with any of their fucking storylines at all.
Was that when they had like there was like a ladder match, and at the end, like somebody like pulled the thing up, like, and I remember for so long I'm like, oh, who was it? And then like they never explained it ever. Like somebody like pulled up the briefcase that they were supposed to win or something, and then the show ended, and like they never had a closure to that story.
There's a lot of stuff over the years.
I haven't gotten to it yet, but I know in late '99 they had a shitload of storylines because Russo basically left without giving them notice, and they were like, what do we do? And they had no idea what to do with the Test and Stephanie McMahon storyline. And if you remember, Ken Shamrock lost his mind and like threw a trash can and it hit her in the head and gave her amnesia, and they had no idea what to do. So like on a whim, they were like, well, what if we just incorporate this with the Triple H Vince storyline where he drugs her and marries her? And that became like an iconic story. That was thrown together. Like they had no idea. It wasn't supposed to be in the main event thing at all. Like it was supposed to be just a whatever mid-card storyline that, because Russo had everybody doing a storyline, and then they were like, well, what do we do with this? And then I think Triple H suggested, well, what if I have a storyline with Vince? What if I get back at him? I marry his daughter.
Yeah, he was just talking about that on a shoot recently. Where he pitched that whole thing. It
And
worked out in his
Stephanie was-
favor, obviously.
Yeah, more ways than one.
Yeah.
And he said that Stephanie was never supposed to be a heel character. And then like the next week she came out to cut a promo after the wedding, whatever, and the fans were just like dogging her and shitting on her. And they said that Vince was behind the scenes being like, "Oh, this is good shit, pal." And that's how that whole
But like,
McMahon
and that's the
Helmsley
thing. You would think
came
that
up.
the Triple H and Test would have been a huge feud after that. But did they even like do much with Test that again?
No.
Like you would assume
'Cause
that
right
was a
after-
huge, because he was being pushed as like a main baby face around that time.
Well, right after that, because I don't think people were buying Triple H as a main eventer at that point. Especially since Austin was out. Especially since Austin was out, they like needed to fill that void. And I think what really put him as like solidified him as a main eventer is they started feuding him with Foley around that time, and that's when they had that Hell in a Cell and that street fight and shit like that. So I can't wait to get to that.
They stopped pushing Test like because of the wellness thing, right? Wasn't it like he was violating policies or something? Wasn't how he got his name? Like it was like a
Couldn't
rig.
pass a drug test.
Yeah, legit. Like that's the story I remember
He
hearing.
couldn't pass the test.
The only thing I can
always
remember about Test is his second run there, and he was dating fucking 18-year-old Kelly, lucky
Oh, yeah.
motherfucker.
Yeah.
And he was
Holy
dating Keebler
shit.
in real life, so Test did pretty damn good for himself. That bastard. He had Stacy Keebler
Yeah.
for a while, and then he had Kelly. Legit.
Live hard, you die hard.
Yeah.
My
That's
favorite
really
thing.
okay.
My favorite thing so far that I've noticed during the Attitude Era, whenever the Brood come out, they never refer to them as vampires. They're like, these three got Jim Ross will be like, they live a gothic lifestyle.
Those goddamn bloodsuckers. Well,
It would have been
I
cool
also-
if Gangrel was like biting people and shit. That would have been sick.
I also got to, they tried to turn JR heel for like 2 weeks and it didn't work out.
Yeah,
like,
and then they
because
just-
Michael
dropped
Cole was
it,
doing, he was doing commentary, so they had a storyline where like these guys came out and literally in the middle of the show with buzzsaws and shit built a commentating desk for JR and Dr. Death Steve Williams to sit right in front of him. It was so
Was that after he was like, remember he went heel because he brought back like the fake Razor and Diesel for a little bit?
No. This was after
was
he had
after
Bell's
that,
palsy.
yeah.
He had the Bell's palsy.
there's
and-
another one around this time period, too. I don't know if, Carter, if you've got to this point. Yeah, I think this was like 97 or so you've gotten past this.
Yeah.
Because Jackson Jack was mentioning this. This was one time, but these guys had been like in and out of WWF like 2 or 3 separate times. Jim Cornette brought out, they were called, I think, the Arabian Butchers on one episode of Raw. And these were these little short, fat fucking, like, I don't know, were they Samoan
SWAT
or
team or whatever? The SWAT team?
right? But
Dude,
yeah,
it's
this
funny you
was
say
like
that. I just saw somebody's releasing their figures. Like I just saw that today.
That's crazy.
Like
That's
one
not
of those
gonna
like
sell
Those
like
guys
heels and
suck
faces or whatever.
ass.
Like, they were like twins. Right?
Holy shit, they were so terrible.
know,
Fucking
Samoan
Bulldog body slammed one of them motherfuckers
You know who
during
were
that
great?
segment.
You know
Yeah.
who were great because they weren't supposed to be taken seriously, and they were. Do you guys remember the Mean Street Posse, Shane's
Oh, yeah.
friends?
Right.
That
Yeah.
those promos where they're like we're from the mean streets of Greenwich, Connecticut. And you're just seeing like Audis and like
The
fucking
sweater
Mercedes.
vests and stuff.
Joey
Why was the
ass.
guy's name Pete
Right.
Gas? Was he known
Pete
to like
Gas.
fart and shit? Was that like his
Yeah, it's
thing?
just gimmick.
He just
It was
farts
so-
all the time.
It was so good. Yeah, the main
Like imagine your nickname in school being Pete Gas. Like you just like stink.
the
Those
main
fucking
storyline
headhunter
at the
guys,
moment.
though, they were so bad. Like their balance was fucking awful. They were like they were barely 5 feet tall and
They
probably
look like two little like
450
Abdul the
pounds.
Butchers or whatever with like
Right.
face paint or something.
And
Yeah.
it was almost like they rolled down to the ring. They were so fucking like rotund. And like it was,
the Samoan SWAT.
and
They
they
were in like
fell
a
like they
they
fell
were in
so
a
many
Royal
times.
Rumble one year with when Vader debuted because he beat the shit out of him. I remember when he came out.
Dude, for context, the last episode I watched, the Ministry of Darkness, the Undertaker did a human sacrifice, Ryan Shamrock, on the Undertaker's symbol.
I was
Dude,
just gonna ask. Did
She
you get
was
to her?
hot.
Oh yeah.
Dude, she she
Hell
was.
yeah. She
And I
was,
think Shamrock dated her in real life, which
He
is funny.
did. I remember him talking
Like,
about.
if
that.
you got a sister that damn hot, yeah, I don't blame him. I mean,
Man,
I'm from Eastern Kentucky, so
He
it's
was
not as-
Well, maybe they were gonna do that gimmick with Burchill where him and Katie were siblings, but they like hooked up. Remember that was like a whole thing.
God,
that was so
Vince
weird.
said it. Yeah. They wanted Shamrock to do an incest storyline. He's like, no, I'm not going to do that. He's pretty underrated, to be honest with you.
They had a cool interview with Dan Severn where basically they wanted him to change his gimmick and be in the Ministry of Darkness and be called Mark of the Beast. And he was going to have like 666 on his forehead. And he was like, there's no way. He's like, I'm like a local hero in like my area. I can't be worshiping Satan on national television. And like Vince was pissed. And Severn basically told Vince, like, listen, unless you like get me out of this contract, when we do the Royal Rumble, I'm literally going to eliminate everybody. Like, and I don't give a fuck. And he's like, and I would have, but they eventually said like, okay, you don't have to do the gimmick or whatever. But like,
okay,
it's a wild interview to hear him talk because he's got that voice where he's like, he's very like this. And he's like, I told Vince, like in the Rumble, I'm going to eliminate everybody and I'll be the winner. And then I'm going to leave to WCW. What are they going to do? Who are they going to get to beat me up? Like, cause he was naturally like a wicked tough guy. But I think he also, that was a huge bomb. I feel like when he came in, everybody was so fired up about him because he always, he was Dan Severn. He had all these Greco-Roman belts, and he was a fucking disaster out there.
Oh yeah,
well, he wasn't. He like Shamrock transition.
Sure,
Great.
he couldn't do it. Yeah.
And Shamrock was because his whole thing where he'd lose his mind and start flipping out, and start going to the announcer's table and destroying shit. At what point, I wanted to ask, because Midian right now is in the ministry, at what point does he turn into naked Midian?
It's a little later.
Yeah, it's a little after that, yeah.
Oh, God. It's been fun. It's been fun, though, watching.
Yeah, we are doing a WrestleManiacs this weekend, though, post-show, just for everybody that likes talking about wrestling, some Money in the Bank, and then I want to try to watch that AAA show that they're having earlier that day just to see what it's like.
Oh, Worlds Collide.
Wait,
yeah.
What night are we doing Money in the Bank?
Saturday.
Okay.
Is it just me, or does it seem like they've kind of lost all their quality that they built? Like,
they're having some issues. Yeah,
it's not good. It's really not good.
I think a lot of it is the creative. Like they don't have. It's almost like WCW, right? So that. Who's like the actual boss backstage? Like, I think that's a big problem.
Yeah, like it's Triple H, but I mean, I don't think that Triple H, I think he's good at what he does, but I don't think he's the Vince type where like all these writers and he's like really critiquing them. I think he's just taking what they're saying and be like, oh yeah, let's just ride with it. Like, it doesn't feel like there's like one major storyline and then like these like half-assed like, I don't know. It does seem like it's gone downhill since Mania as far as like storytelling.
My problem is
it was like every guy had a feud, every guy had a story.
The
now it's like there's
are
nothing but that Rollins.
They go.
Going.
Yeah.
His stories go on too long. It's the same storyline that goes on and on and on, and then like it's just. I think he's. I'm not. It's anything's way better than Vince was this last few years, but I think he's overrated as a creative. To be
where do you think that like? What do you think the issue is right now? They're saying that they're trying to save all this money. Like, where are they losing money? Because they're saying now that they're trying to renegotiate all these big contracts for less money, like Roman. They're trying to like take money away. They're like, they're saying that they're not even sure if they're going to renew Karrion Kross.
It's a new company.
And I feel like he's getting momentum. You're going to let this guy go? Like Karrion Kross is like being built, and they said that they might let this guy go. Like they haven't resigned.
TKO is shit with pay. They do the same thing in the UFC. Like they lowball the fuck out of a lot of UFC fighters. Like, and those guys are really fucking themselves up, you know. And
it's wild
outside of their main few, yeah.
And whether you liked or disliked R-Truth, the guy sells you money. Like there are a lot of people who like him who buy his merchandise. You leave him money on the table. And it's just idiotic business.
He was the only character like that too, like the only comic relief sort of character that they had.
Mm-hmm. They fucked that up with the way he went out though, because like I mean, dude, he had the main event of this thing with Cena, and they let him go like a week later, like with no explanation. It's like if they were gonna let him go and they were like doing this as like a last hurrah, like let's give him one before we let him go. Why didn't they do like a loser leaves town match or something and put something on the line so when he's gone,
they probably didn't have it planned ahead though. That's what I think.
Then Cena could have been the heel, right? Like they could have made Cena the heel in this situation.
Yeah, it would have made sense. Yeah.
When was his contract expiring? Because wasn't like he's there until his contract expires. So if it doesn't expire yet, then doesn't he still technically be there?
I mean, I think R-Truth's last appearance was main event. I think
SmackDown, right? Wasn't it last week? I think.
Did he come out after the main event?
He got beat by another guy.
Yeah, it was fucking what's his name? JC Mateo or something like
Mateo.
that.
Yeah.
My thing is, I think they have way too many fucking people that they don't know what to do with anyway. Like they have a gigantic roster and they don't know what to do with. And it's like, at what point is it like the general public like, all right, we've been seeing, the same guys for like a decade now. Like how many? You couldn't pay me to be interested in anything Seth Rollins does. Just me personally, I'm not a fan. And it's like
they're
those
bringing
guys,
up too many guys from NXT too early, and they don't know what to do with them. Like a lot of these new chicks and stuff, like some of them are good, like Stephanie, whatever is good, but like that Lyra Valkyrie, like I don't think she's ready.
No.
And I mean, like they're already saying that they're going to bring up like Ricky Starks is coming up soon. I'm like, to do what? Like Carmelo Hayes was a big star in NXT. He's done nothing. Mm-hmm. So now you're going to bring all these other guys up, which could fill their NXT roster to have a good little roster down there to do nothing. Ricky Starks is not going to be a big star on the main roster. There's no way.
It's too small.
As a guy that's not into wrestling as much as I used to, it seems like the only buzz I hear is negative buzz. Like
lately, for sure, something's going on. Yeah,
seen as a heel doesn't seem to be working. Like
it's not working.
Rock screwed that up though. So
I think I don't trust the Rock. Actually, to be honest with you, I think that this Rock TKO thing is going to implode this company. I don't think it's going to. I think Triple H is probably going to be gone within 2 years.
Really?
And they're going to have all these people running the show that don't know anything about wrestling. It's going to be like a big soap opera with all these. They're going to go backwards in time, where at least Triple H has some kind of wrestling mindset. But I think there's been a lot of things they've done where they've put everything on Tripp as the bad guy, and I think that they're hoping that people start to turn on Triple H. So when they let him go, it's not going to be such a big deal.
He's become the fall guy for everything.
I agree. And I think Rock and these other guys, like, I just don't think that they want what's best for the company. I think they just want to line their pockets a little bit.
They want money. Yeah. They're money hungry. Look at these prices for the PLEs, man. Like this is, it's crazy.
Well, ticket prices are like 4 times what they were the year before, I think.
When The Rock was on that show and he's like, yeah, I would have done Mania different. Like, how can you even say that? You're running imagine having your own business and be like, yeah, it was terrible. Like, at least play along that he thought it was great. I mean,
you could look forward to the freestyle wrestling, Hulk Hogan's.
Oh yeah, whatever the hell that's gonna be.
The classic.
That's not gonna amount to nothing.
Yeah, Hogan. He helped a lot of those wrestlers like Benjamin Shelton and.
What about?
I love Benjamin Shelton. I love.
What about? Did you see that Ospreay interview on TV where he said AEW sucks now? Like
AEW sucks. It's awful. It's no good.
The reason AEW sucks is because you're gonna say that about the company you work for. The reason this company sucks is because
that's
a whole other fucking topic.
You're the champ is what sucks. You couldn't really understand him, so I guess
why would you ever go out there and admit that the company's fucking dog shit? And he's like, and the reason it's because you're the champion.
What's funny is after he says that, he almost is like looking, thinking,
yeah, like he knew
he said that. Whoa, no.
But is he wrong?
But I mean,
no, but you probably shouldn't go on TV and say it.
No, that makes it worse.
You don't bury the promotion.
The reason there's nobody in these buildings is because
something else that sucks though too, because somebody brought it up in the chat. We have not talked about this.
Matu.
No.
I didn't even know they were making a Matu. I saw that in the chat.
Well, Matu, yeah. Matu making the Bye Man too as well, maybe.
Mama.
Holy shit.
Blumhouse has acquired the rights to the Saw franchise from Twisted Pictures.
Can they just stop with Saw and Scream, please?
Oh, they're going to up it, man. It's going to be every year again.
It's going to
put Tobin Bell, have him wear like a gold chain and a backwards hat, make him look young again. Like, what's up, young people?
I can't.
Well, I think Lionsgate still owns 50% of it, though, right? I think that's what they were saying. So that's like a 50-50 thing where Blumhouse has part of it. Damn. It gets it a little bit closer to James Wan because I know Atomic Monster merged with Blumhouse last year. So I mean, I remember him saying this was years ago. He was saying like, I'd be interested in doing another Saw movie because when we did the first one, we had no money, no nothing. But I'd like to revisit it and do my own thing this time with money. But I don't.
It's the same fucking movie 12 times.
Well, here's the other thing too. I keep seeing news like the next Scream is going to be Sydney's story. Like, are they talking about the one that's coming out, or like another one after this? Like, what are they talking about? Is it this one, or is there already planning for another one?
To give a fuck about those Scream movies.
No,
I'm sorry.
I agree. It's like, it's going to be about Sydney. I'm like, yeah, like I thought this was the end coming up. So we're saying there's more after this now. Like, how many more are we doing here?
What all does Blumhouse own? Obviously, what all?
I mean, you saw what they did to Megan. Did you see that trailer? Fucking awful. Well, I don't know what that is.
That's a future Rambo review coming up.
So
Megan 2.
Blumhouse
Rambo,
was,
Megan 2. Megan 2 review Rambo.
Right? They do the Halloween movies.
Yeah, that was the yeah.
Who owns Exorcist?
I think that's them too, right?
Blumhouse still has it.
Yeah. Well, no, Universal owns it, but Blumhouse is Blumhouse is making
maybe like a
movies for
crossover. Sydney will be possessed.
Isn't Mike Flanagan doing that new Exorcist?
He said he's doing it after the Carrie series that he's working on right now.
They better
Saw meet Stream.
I mean, I'm
Carrie,
glad.
like a show or like movies?
No, it's a show. It's a TV
show.
Oh,
it's gonna follow her from elementary to high school.
Probably, yeah.
Great.
They do all the Paranormal Activity movies too. Blumhouse.
Yeah, that's kind of what made their brand. But that
Black Phone.
Dude, what's crazy is I had totally forgot there was even an Exorcist movie from like 2 years ago.
I think everybody else did too.
Yeah.
You guys seen the Black Phone 2 trailer? Anybody seen that?
No.
It didn't look too bad.
I just don't know how you would.
That had a lot of promise, that movie, and I feel like it went off the rails at one point where I'm like, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. Like that beginning of Black Phone, I thought was unbelievable, and then when it started to get a little more supernatural, like with the phone and stuff, I was.
And now he's a ghost.
Yeah, I agree with that, but then again, most movies, not just horror, but most movies in general, don't know how to do a third actor in their fucking movies properly. That's why when I saw The Substance and it ended the way it did, I was like, yeah, this is good. Finally, a movie that ends like how it's supposed to. It pays off how it's supposed to.
Insidious.
They
need to stop making those too, I think.
Yeah. Those Insidious and Conjuring sequels, oh my God.
There's another one coming out.
I saw like a 5-pack of Insidious, and I was like, God damn, there's 5 fucking Insidious movies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you bought one, right?
No, I took a picture of it at Walmart. Okay. I didn't buy it. No,
he's like, I can't buy this.
when we were in Tennessee, I went in a Walmart that had a shit ton of fucking movies. Like, I haven't seen a Walmart that had it was almost like old school Walmart, like 2 aisles of movies, and there was all kinds of stuff there. I was kind of surprised.
That's what's interesting about Walmart. They're like none of them are the same. Like even the ones around here, like some have certain things, the other ones don't have anything like that. Like we don't have any. I have not seen a dump bin in my Walmarts in 5 years, but I see all these people posting pictures of like those $5 dump bins. I'm like, those don't exist here.
No, they don't exist.
They don't exist here.
My Walmart barely has physical media. I think they had Alf on DVD, and that was about it.
Get there.
That was it. Yeah. It was
Alf on DVD. Right over there.
I think within
you got a big Alf community over there.
Like it seemed like Walmart tried to get more into the physical media whenever Best Buy quit carrying it, and it just didn't work out for them. They kind of went away from it a little bit. I'm willing to bet in the next couple of years, like they're probably going to go 100% off of that. Like I don't see them carrying. Maybe like special, Christmas time or something like that. Maybe they'll have some, but
which made it even odder that they pulled out fucking Faces of Death out of the blue. It was like, huh?
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
That's still funny that your experience buying that fucking movie.
Did I ended up watching it? Did I tell you that?
No.
No.
Also, I ended up watching it. for the first time.
It's obviously fake, right?
You've
Yeah,
never
like,
seen it
see,
before?
like, I saw it when I saw it as like a freshman in high school. I remember like we went to this kid's house and he like took the tapes out from like under his mattress. Like we were watching like the worst thing in the world. And of course, when a kid at that age in the 90s is telling you this is real footage, of course you're believing it's real footage. And that's only recollection I had was like we were watching like this stuff we weren't supposed to watch. He's like, you cannot tell anybody you saw this, you know? So it felt crazy. But then when I rewatched it again, I was like, this isn't bad. Like this doesn't feel like crazy real. Like Cannibal Holocaust was a harder watch for me than Faces of Death was. You know, like, you know, they did the little monkey scene, but they kind of cut away at certain points and like didn't really. So yeah, I mean, I ended up watching it, but
well, when you've seen when go back to One Man, One Jar, I mean, Faces of Death is nothing.
Traces of Death is the one that you.
Yeah, that's the one you don't want to see.
Which one had the Bud Dwyer?
That's Traces of Death.
Traces,
yeah.
That's
on. I think that's on YouTube too now, though. Oddly enough,
you can't. That type of shit. I just stay away from because it just has a permanent place in your brain once you see shit like that. It's like,
it is bad. Yeah, I remember I was probably 12, 13 years old when I first saw that. Like right when it came out, because we were renting, and they would let us rent those Faces of Death. These people in the video store. And when we were like 10, 11 years old, seeing these Faces of Death movies, like that was the dare when we were kids. So yeah, that definitely traumatized me seeing the blood Dwyer faucet of blood.
Yeah. What's crazy now, man, especially that you got to think about the generation we live in. You can go on the internet now. Everybody got a camera, and you'll see the most horrific shit on a weekly basis. Really, like you'll go on Twitter or X. And you'll just scroll and be like, oh, I heard there was a shooting. And you click and there's somebody recording a video, somebody just laying dead on the ground after like a school shooting or something.
What about the one you guys reviewed a while ago, the Killing of America?
Yeah. I didn't think it was. I mean, it was similar, but they didn't really show a lot of graphic stuff on it that I can recall. But that was one that was completely banned for years and years and years, and never, like, that wasn't even on video or anything. I think Severin was the first company that actually brought it out on anything.
Because I remember the trailer, and the trailer was like really intense, but
yeah, because we reviewed that, like, it's probably been 3 or 4 years ago at this point. But I didn't think, because I was kind of dreading to watch it because I don't like watching stuff like that now. But it wasn't nearly as like Traces of Death.
No, it's not at all. Yeah.
The worst thing I've ever seen by far was actually when I was in high school. I don't even know why they had us like watch this. This was a tough watch. It was one of those like post World War II documentaries going into like the concentration camps, like right after the war ended, where there were people still barely alive, and it was just like, what the fuck? Like some of the worst shit ever. And I remember that stuck in my head way more than like a Faces of Death or anything like that.
Yeah.
You said that was high school?
Yeah, it was like in high school, and it was like people that were basically skin and bones, still barely hanging on.
I almost feel like we watched that too. Was a lot of it in black and white?
Yes, it was in black and white, and there was like piles, like people that were just like piles.
Yeah,
like you remember that?
100%. I remember that too.
Yeah,
wow.
I don't remember. I couldn't tell you the name of it, but I remember just like being like, man, I'm going to sleep. I can't watch this shit. This is like really bad. Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy they would show that.
Yeah, it was like an anti-war doc. It wasn't like an exploitive thing, but at the same, it was an anti.
What class was this for?
It was like
history or something.
It was history class, yeah, and it was right after I guess the Allies had taken over like all the Nazi-occupied countries, and it was like going through Auschwitz and shit, and it was just like,
so let's show the snuff film.
Yeah, it was basically.
That's what it felt like, for sure.
It was like, just piles of bodies that were in landfills. And
I remember like the early days of the internet too, like rotten.com. Like that was a big thing to go on there and look at some of that shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember
those sites still exist too. It's not the same. It's not rotten.com does not exist, but there are sites that's the same exact
very similar sites. Yeah.
See, the internet's
go ahead.
I was just going to say real quick, the internet's always been the same and vile. It's just that in like the last 10, 15 years or so, it's just now more self-righteous in their vileness. You know what I mean? It's like instead of exploitation, it's now like, you know, it's like a moral vileness to shit. Like, you know what I mean?
It was
like
raw back then, though. Like when even in the late '80s and '90s, I can remember as a kid being traumatized, and I wish I could find this like on YouTube. I probably could. I haven't looked for it, but remember they used to have like those like AIDS commercials and stuff like that where they try to scare the shit out of you, and like they were for different like things. I can remember this one
anti-smoking.
Like, yeah, like stuff like that.
Anti-smoking where they got the hole in the neck.
Like,
Yeah.
Well, they still do that.
He was like he was half dead, and it's like this man has AIDS, and it's like that weird deep voice, and like it was scary, man, to watch this thing, and you're like, what the fuck? This guy's like, it looks like he's deteriorating with sores like on this bed, and he's just like, and like they give you like this whole speech on like, don't share needles, don't do this.
They
It's
did
like,
that with us, but we watched Kids, the Larry Clark movie.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and I was like, at the time, I was like, this is actually kind of cool. Like, not that I wanted to do any of that stuff.
And then you get to the end. Then you get to the end of the movie, and you're like, "Oh god!"
Right, exactly.
He's going up to his teacher after class.
What's this
He's
thing?
Yeah, this
God.
Yeah, when friends drive drunk, yeah, that was a big thing in like the early '90s too.
Yeah.
They had a lot
Remember
of
the-
those.
Remember the alien autopsy video, the hoax that was going around like in the
Yeah,
'90s? Where they're
that
like,
was
this
huge
is,
too.
Yeah,
That was a big
they
thing.
did a whole. Didn't they do like a whole Fox special on it? And it's just like basically on.
I think
I remember-
so.
I remember Fox used to like not Fox News, but Fox, the network Fox, used to do shit where it was like alien autopsy or the moon landing hoax or shit like that. They would do docu-series on. It
I
was
used
like
to love stuff like that. They had
around that time the X-Files was huge. They had to do like some kind of crypto documentary to tie in, like to follow
Fact
it up
or
or something.
Faked or something like that was a show that was popular like in the early 2000s. I used to love that show.
That's not a bad idea. Why don't we try to find some of these and watch disturbing PSAs, dude? If we can find some, because they were fucked up, man. Big
You remember
time.
the
They scared
one-
the shit out of us.
You remember the
Just-
one? It's funny to laugh at, but it's really not funny. It's that Canadian one. It's for like domestic violence, where they're like, it's these two kids and they're scared of their dad, and the waitress spills coffee on him. He goes, "You spill my coffee, you fucking bitch!" And he just starts wailing on her, and pours coffee all on her. Like,
Didn't one of those?
But I remember
labels-
this one that Heather brought up, the one with the lady that was smoking through her throat.
Yes,
Remember that?
yes.
I remember
She's
that.
still
Yeah,
on. Like I think they still have her on some of those smoking ads sometimes. But yeah, there was was it Vinegar Syndrome that did like the scare? They did a whole Blu-ray or something of those.
That's AGFA.
AGFA.
Yeah, it's
What is
AGFA,
it
the
called?
Scare Film Archives, I believe. It's the drug stories. It's the anti-drug stuff.
Yeah,
And
because
then the
it might be out of print at this point. I
The
don't know.
Danger Stories.
Do you
Danger
remember?
Stories.
There was.
Let me see if
there was this.
Danger
It was just
Stories. It's not out.
one.
It's shipping now, but the drug one was the one they did previously. Drug Stories.
You guys remember in the late '90s, early 2000s? I think it was. It may have been for a few things, but it was definitely anti-smoking. It'd be like the most horrific or disturbing or gross shit, and it was like an orange screen that said "truth" at the bottom. Do you remember? It was for some reason I remember watching like Monday Night Raw, and those commercials would pop up like these.
Yeah.
The,
I
remember the
like
truth
most
commercials,
disturbing.
Well, that
Yeah,
was the company that was created where the cigarette companies actually had to pay for those ads. Like that was part of their deal or something, right? I don't know if they're still. I guess they're not around anymore.
The sad truth is those ads did their job because like if you look at charts and shit, cigarette smoking went way down, and then like in the last 10 years, everybody's like, I can vape cotton candy, and it's spiked up higher than it's ever been. Yeah.
The whole thing
Which
on,
is just
on
as bad for you, by the way. Too,
I think the
vaping.
vaping thing's probably going to end up being worse for you than
Yeah,
cigarettes.
we haven't even seen the long-term ramifications.
Because like it looks like a fucking fog machine.
Oh,
Like when
dude.
these people are vaping, I'm like, dude, like I don't
You'll
care
have
what
some-
you call it. That doesn't look
They had-
better for you at all. No.
Like 6 years ago, I got into this bad habit of. You guys remember there was those things that look like flash drives? They're called Jewel Pods.
Oh, Jules,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and I was doing that for like a good summer or so, and I remember getting the sickest I've ever been, like from like smoking or something, to where I felt like I was hyperventilating. I was sweating buckets. We were in the woods camping, and I had to go in the woods and like I thought I was gonna puke my brains out. It was like the strongest shit, and I'm like, who the fuck? How are these legal? And then like a few months later, they're like, we're banning all flavors except for menthol flavors because they had like cotton candy, mango, and that shit was making kids like wanting to a cigarette. And let's be real. I mean, say what you want about cigarettes, but if you dress in a nice clothes and you're smoking a cigarette, you can look pretty cool in it. But there's nothing more lame than fucking taking a vape and blowing out a cloud and shit. It's just the lamest shit.
Blowing it out like just like
They got the
strawberries.
highlighter ones now.
Yeah, and then it smells like fucking pancake syrup or whatever the fuck they're.
It's not that you don't look as like a bad boy or whatever doing that.
Yeah, could you imagine
candy melt or something?
I was talking about this. I don't know if you guys know the show Mad Men that takes place in the 60s where they're all smoking and drinking, the advertising agent. Like, imagine if this was modern day and like Don Draper just pulls out like a White Claw and a fucking Jewel Pod and just after closing a deal. It doesn't look cool at all.
He's blowing blueberry smoke at you.
Yeah.
It's not as intimidating as I said.
Yeah, no, not at all. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, guys, we're right at 2 hours. Always. Man, we need to do these more often. We haven't done a roundtable in a couple months, so it's always good getting everybody together on here. Phantasmatic. You headed up to the convention this weekend in Pittsburgh?
I should be, yeah. I'm planning on doing Saturday, so I think Radkins is there. Uncle Bill's supposed to be there, so and I'm sure
there's a few more, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember everybody. But I should be able to, make it up there on Saturday. So
anybody that's going up there too, Uncle Bill has some copies of our documentary, and they're already pre-signed for $10 a pop.
Is he going?
Yeah, he's going to be up there, and he'll have those with him, and he's going to be there all weekend. I think he's going all 3 days.
Wow.
I told him, I was like, dude, like really, you can get everything done. You don't need to go
3 days.
You can see everything in a day. It's cool and all and everything.
Yeah.
But he's going on the tour for 1 day, so that's like a 4-hour deal anyway, by itself.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the con itself, you don't need 3 days to do it. I mean, there's not that much,
No.
But I'm sure he's probably planning on looking at some other like landmarks that's not at the mall, some of the Romero stuff. So
yeah, definitely visiting the cemetery. I know he's going to do the Creep Show house this time.
That's fun, dude. That's cool.
Has anyone ever gone to the Creep Show College and found the staircase at the Creep?
He talked about doing that too, but that's a little ways. Isn't that a little further out or something like that? Somebody was telling me in Pittsburgh. I don't know.
What was it?
The Carnegie Mellon or whatever.
The college where the Creep
from Creep Show.
Well, yeah, Carnegie Mellon is up there. I don't know is that where they filmed that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they filmed that scene there. A lot of that scene from Creep Show there.
I think the interior where the crate was in that building.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that. I never really hear people talk about that. Most people talk more about like the Creep Show house, and the cemetery and the mall.
He can Uncle Bill can blend in and go to college like he did in the Into the Pit documentary.
Uncle Bill goes to college.
Yeah.
Part 2.
There's a couple things from Martin too, you can see in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Our buddy Eric, who was on the board as Axlis back in the day, he's got like a whole Google Maps link that has like all of the sites. Like you can easily travel it. So I don't know if he's going to use that, but lots of sites for up there, for up there in the, not only the Romero movies, but there's a Silence of the Lambs houses up in that area too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of other stuff too that I
always forget Romero has a cameo in Silence of the Lambs.
He does.
Right. Yeah. The cage scene that's like right there at the museum. You can go in and see that room that they, like that. When the cops are going up the elevator and stuff, like that's all visible to see. So
cool. Carta, have you ever started a YouTube page?
No. I eventually I will, but I keep saying that, but you know, I can never find the time. I can barely find the time to come on
Need to
here
come
and
up
hang
with
out.
a gimmick. Austin Butler talks horror or something.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
that's what I should do.
Yeah.
I could be act like I'm his stand-in or something, and maybe make the convention scene. Me and Warrington Gillette next to each other. You know.
There you go. Yeah, you're the Austin Butler stunt double or something.
Give me 20. Only 20. Yeah.
Mark, have you got anything coming up on your channel? Or you and Rambo doing anything this weekend, or what's going on?
Oh, that's a good question. I haven't planned anything out with him, but I don't know. He's so busy. He's got all those reviews, and
That's true. He stays
He's gonna be
busy.
watching Two Girls with One Cup and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Not yet.
He's preparing himself for Megan 2.0. It's going to happen.
No, actually, that one of the next reviews is E.T. the porno.
Oh my god!
That'll be a good one.
So, funny enough, you mentioned that. If you want to see, like, you know, someone in the E.T. costume with like fecal matter and oatmeal on her face, and
does his finger light up before he does something?
Well,
with
they
it?
sold an ET dildo
girl
back in the
that's
day.
ET.
Didn't they?
oh,
For
this
real.
is like a German film from like
Is it-
the 70s. I mean,
is it-
80s.
Is it better or worse than the Poonies?
I don't fucking know. They're both the same. If you want to see someone like woman, like, I don't need to explain it. The title says it all.
Man, you've opened up a Pandora's box with those reviews. Now it's
Yeah, but
every
they're
porn
funny
parody.
to do. I just laugh at it. So.
Isn't there
Have
one
you
called?
done Edward?
Yeah,
Penis Hands?
that's what I was going to say. Edward
Yeah.
Peter Hands or whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah, I did that review. That, was,
That one.
that review's on the channel.
You should start a whole collection of like physical media of like all these like movie
should-
turned porn.
At least do like a playlist of all those or
Yeah.
something.
Sure.
Separated,
What was
yeah.
that other one? Remember back in the day they had like Sexorcist and the Reanimator ones were like hitting the scene for a while.
Triple Exorcist and
The Bear Winch project.
Repenetrator.
that was the same group that was doing XPW or something, right?
Oh,
I think
was it really?
Yeah,
Oh my god! And stay away from those. Shit.
yeah.
Didn't they go to prison for their fucking pornos?
Joanna
Yeah.
Angel, I think was her name. Yeah. Rob Black, I think. was the
Rob
guy that made
Black.
it. Yeah.
God. and some of those women were wrestlers.
Sure, it's just a different type of wrestling, you know.
Yeah, right. I think there was a New Jack interview where he goes, they weren't even doing real pornos. They were doing the slankiest basement pornos.
Cool. And Garrett, what you got coming up, man?
I'm dropping a Reanimator History of Physical Media tomorrow, and then Saturday I'm dropping a top 10 summer camp horror movies that you may have missed. And I just did that sleepaway camp rant. If anybody wants to go check that out over on my channel at Born to Be Rad, I just did that. And I did a gateway horror movie talking about the 80s Fright Flicks cards that were a huge gateway for me growing up. And I have a part 2 coming out for that, you know, my second biggest gateway to get into the genre growing up. I have a part 2 coming out of that too. So you guys go check that out on my channel, Born to Be Rad.
Cool.
Did you get like
Nice.
the deluxe ultra limited one for Reanimator? Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
not the
nice.
one with the bobblehead, just
There was
the other
like
one.
there was $135 one or something that had all kinds of shit in it or whatever.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. So I got like the big one. It just didn't have the poster and the bobblehead and stuff like that. I think that one's still not even in, like, hasn't even shipped yet. I think those bobbleheads got stuck in customs. So all the people that ordered the big set haven't even got theirs yet.
Oh
Fucking
shit.
bobbleheads.
Yeah. So,
Jeez.
but the trigger on the trick on those were people wanted it because the opportunity was like, well, the posters could be signed or something like that. That's like the gamble. I think.
Come on, Wes. If there's a Madman Mars bobblehead, you can't tell me you wouldn't buy one.
Well,
Madman
yeah,
Mars
but
bobblehead,
like
there you go.
that's just me though.
There you go.
No, like that's one. Like I have some Cincinnati Reds bobbleheads at work or whatever, but like, yeah, that's one thing that I've not gotten into is bobbleheads.
You got a Pete Rose bobblehead?
I don't know if I've got Pete Rose. I think I got a Chris Sabo one. That was like
I was
my
gonna say,
favorite
that's
back in the day. Yeah.
Goggles, the
And,
goggles on.
For
Oh,
split
yeah.
second, I thought you were going to say Chris Benoit bobblehead.
God.
Yeah,
People want a dead pit bobblehead. That'd be cool, right?
that would be cool. Yeah, if somebody can do bobbleheads.
Anybody got 3D printer?
We're looking at different merchandise options too. So, and also Garrett and I are going to be starting up the first Anchor Bay podcast, the Anchor Bay Archives, as well, talking about our. I think the debut episode is kind of our introduction to the company and our backstory, origin story, if you will.
Nice.
That'll be out this month.
Cool.
Yeah,
So as a
that'll be the
podcast, are you going like each type of release for each episode, or like some general thoughts on certain episodes of the Anchor Bay stuff?
Well, I think it'll be something where we'll have guests from time to time, and it'll be like a combination. Like, hey, let's talk about tins on this episode, or if there's a certain movie we can talk about. You know, because Anchor Bay had like some odd one-off releases too, like that people don't really think about or talk about very often. So I don't know. It's kind of a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of got an okay, like a yes for a cool guest to talk about a cool edition. So I mean, I think it'll be cool. It'll be all based on Anchor Bay stuff from the past, but it'll be different things that we're gonna do. Like you said, the tins, or maybe we'll do just about a director, or maybe a specific movie, like the history of Dawn of the Dead with Anchor Bay, and go through all the editions that they did, and then get into more movies, little retrospectives on some stuff that maybe people don't even realize is out there. But yeah, it'll be good.
Early editions, which is crazy.
Show
Some
off-
of the stuff.
You can show off the disco edition of Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, like what's
That's my
crazy
favorite
is so some of their first releases on DVD came out 28 years ago.
That's nuts.
How crazy is that? Like, that's so bizarre. Like, I'm like, what? It just doesn't seem, because Anchor Bay was coming out with like Dawn of the Dead on DVD when I was still in high school.
Yeah, man.
Long time ago.
97, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wild.
I was 5 years old. Holy shit.
They were one of the very first, like, that wasn't, I think they were the first that wasn't a mainstream studio that were making these releases.
Yeah, I remember having the Dawn of the Dead and Evil Dead VHS. I think I had that disco Dawn of the Dead back in the day.
I just remember the Walmarts back in the day before they were what Walmart is now, where it's a giant, grocery. And when Walmart was just electronics and home appliances, it was all like Anchor Bay DVDs on the wall, where it was half and half VHS and then half DVD. It was just Anchor Bay.
Also, yeah, I'm glad Brendan posted this because we're finally doing this. This is something we've been talking about for a year or so. On Monday night, we are doing like a 40th anniversary edition, like a fan commentary over the Goonies. One of my favorite movies, one of Wet Movie's favorites. So we decided to finally get together and do that on, I think officially the 40th anniversary is coming up maybe tomorrow, I think, from the theatrical release back in 1985. So yeah, we're hitting it kind of close. So that'll be a lot of fun. And on Friday the 13th, which is coming up in a week, a little bit over a week, we are having Michael Felcher on to rank his Friday, favorite Friday the 13th movie. So I thought that would be a lot of fun.
Nice.
You should have had Slippy on that Goonies commentary. Just imagine how that would go.
We can't do that. We can't do that.
God.
So yeah, and also I wanted to pimp out the hats that we've got. We got the hats back in stock. Atomic green. We got the Halloween glow in the dark ones, fully embroidered for the first time in a couple of years that we've got them back in stock. So if anybody is interested, give us a holler, boss. But it's always been fun, getting on here for a couple hours and bullshitting with you guys just about anything really. So we will definitely try to do it again next month.
Cool. Yeah, thanks, guys.
Cool. All right, guys. Everybody keep it creepy, and we will catch you guys next time at
DeadPit.com.
Oh, no. How am I going to end this damn thing?
Shit.
Come on.
Oh, yes, my favorite documentary. Into the Pit, the shocking story of DeadPit.com is back out on DVD. Yes, me and my Undertaker. watching it. It's a heartfelt, emotional documentary about a couple of hillbillies in eastern Kentucky that started their very first radio show. Oh, yeah! Get your copy today. IntoThePitTheMovie.com. Buy 4 or 5 copies, yes. Get an autograph. IntoThePitTheMovie.com. Oh, yes!
I want all these people to click everything they're supposed to click.
You haven't been liking them, you haven't been subscribing to them, you haven't clicked the bell or notification or anything like that.
Folks, why don't you click the like button?
Do you hate us? Do you not want to see us succeed?
Why don't you click the heart button?
Is this something that you have against our particular show?
Why don't you subscribe?
You should click on one of them buttons right now if you want us to continue to breathe greatness into your life.
There's all kinds of wonderful shirts over at shop.deadpit.com. Simply the best horror shirts. On TeePublic, there are others, but they all suck. You can get some Dead Pit Radio shirts. You can get Last South on the Left. The Hills Have Eyes. Texas Chainsaw. Oh, wait, you can't say Texas Chainsaw. All kinds of shirts, folks. You're gonna love them. Shop.deadpit.com.
Special thanks goes out to our supporters on Patreon. You know what kind of stuff you can get on Patreon, Uncle Bill, starting at only $1 a month?
What's that?
Access to every Dead Pit show since 2005. We got almost 200 fan commentaries that we've done over the decades.
Weird what other fucking Patreons do. They're like, hey, give us money and then we'll let you see a video early that we're going to release like a fucking week from now, and then that's all we're going to give you. Meanwhile, we have a literal jukebox full of songs, thousands of reviews. I don't even know how many shows are up on there now that we've done over the years.
Hundreds of thousands.
You need to figure this out now and subscribe to us on Patreon and YouTube and Instagram and help us to 1 million. The road to 1 million subscribers starts today.
So deadpitonpatreon.com. Join today. Tiers start at only $1, but I'd recommend at least the $10 tier.
You can do 50.